So it's going to put the ball back where it should have been to begin with.
This has been an eventful series. You had the review that I thought should have gone Rio's way, and it didn't. And then now this.
And now the offense looks like it's going to trot back onto the field here for Union. We'll see as they bring all the bodies back 100 yards across the field. And we're going to do it all over again.
And so that kick was really low. Credit Rio for blocking it, but it was really low. A line drive right over the offensive line's head. And so this may be a situation where Union Commonwealth just isn't confident in their kicker, and they say, hey, we'll take our chances going for 2 rather than letting you block it again.
And that looks like that is exactly what they're going to do. And unfortunately, the Red Storm haven't been able to stop them for any less than 3 yards at this particular time. So I can see the decision here. Let's see if the Red Storm defense can come up with the block.
So this is their backup QB. Bryson Grabowski is in. And then on the one that was called back, he ran a QB sweep around the right end.
They got Jackson lined up in the slot. This is exactly what it's going to be again, it looks like. Just another quarterback plunge. And that is in. That's Grabowski across the goal line. And he's going to plunge it in there. 4-2 on the quarterback draw.
Rio had them stopped too, and then offensive lineman Ty Davis was able to escort them into the end zone, push them from behind, and was able to get them over the play. And man, Rio was really close to having him stopped on the play.
We got to get to our first break of the quarter. We'll be back with the kickoff with 7:01 remaining. Rio down 8-0. Welcome back. You're listening to Red Storm Football 96.7 WKOV. Rio Grande trailing Union Commonwealth 8-0. 7:01 remaining in the first quarter. Back deep for the Red Storm to return the kickoff is Josiah Ayers, the 5'9 freshman wide receiver, and of course Michael Moore.
This is a really big series coming up. Rio's offense needs to move the chains, keep this defense off the field, and let them rest a little bit.
And Union kicks it away. Ball is, after an eventful fielding by Michael Moore, finally picked up around the 5-yard line, and he's going to return it out to about the 19. He's finally brought down. That's where Rio Grande will begin with the football for the first time today.
So, yeah, the Red Storm are down 8-0. You'd love to get points on this drive, but at the very least, it's a warm day. Your defense was just on the field for an 8-minute series. You absolutely have to get some first downs here, or else they're going to wear down quickly. So, Rio needs to move the chains here. We'd love to get at least 2 first downs. A, you flip the field. B, you buy your defense some time to rest.
On for the Red Storm offense is Peyton Moulter, who played quarterback last week for this unit, but due to some roster changes and some jersey changes, we didn't get you the proper number. But that's who's rocking the 13 today for the Red Storm offense. In the snap, the handoff, he fakes, now looks over the middle of the field, has Beamer Walker across the middle of the field, and that ball right off the rip is going to be good for a Red Storm first down on the play-action pass.
What a ball. So Ty Ellis, Rio singled him up, blocked him, and he beat the left tackle around the edge and destroyed Peyton Moulter right as he threw the ball. But Moulter stared down the gun barrel, throws an accurate ball, and moves the chains for the offense. Great way to start the game on offense.
Nice first down pickup through the air for Rio Grande. Under 6.5 remaining in the first quarter here. Moulter calling out signals for Rio Grande. Under center here, he's got 2 receivers to each side. Now brings more across the formation. Now in the tight slot to the near side here. Now he motions out. Jaden Cartwright stands, looks, fakes the throw, now throws it out to Walker. Walker trying to make a man miss, unable to, and he's brought down immediately by the defensive back. That's senior Kiki Murray.
Nice play by Kiki Murray there, just reading his keys, beating a block, and making a tackle for short gains. So I do like the pass. I do like the play calling here in terms of 2 plays in, 2 passes. I don't think you're going to run the ball consistently on these guys. So have to get Peyton Moulter going early, and Rio's done that.
2 straight throws for the Red Storm to start this drive. 2nd and 15 for the Rio Grande offense. Moulter under center here. He's got 2 receivers to his left. He's got Kashili in the tight slot to his right and Cartwright in the backfield. Moulter takes the snap, hands off to Cartwright. Cartwright is hit immediately. And on the stop, that's number 7, Samuel Hawthorne, who had a massive game a week ago.
Talked about him earlier in the broadcast. He's a really good player, too, from his linebacker spot. So, again, Rio's had trouble running on against anyone, and I think that's going to continue to be the case today. Need to be consistently making plays on the passing game in order to move the ball in this one.
A week ago, Hawthorne had 8 tackles, 4.5 for a loss, a sack, and a fumble recovery. So keep an eye on number 7 on the Bulldogs defense. Empty backfield for Moulter at the moment. The quarterback out of Cincinnati, Ohio. 3 receivers to his right, 2 to the far side of the field, his left. Ball is snapped. Now looking, has Beamer Walker. Walker hit hard as he tries to jump and come away with that reception, but he was blown up by the defensive back. Looked like Donnell Casey.
Donnell Casey and Brayon Farley. So Moulter tried to fit and then throw a hole shot to Beamer Walker, and he actually threw it accurately, gave him a chance, but great play by the defense. You had 2 guys converge on the ball at once, get Rio's offense off the field.
On to punt it away is Andy Meldick. This punt unit has been quite the unit for this Red Storm team this year. Back to return the punt is Salation Straughter, the 5'11", 195 sophomore receiver. Nice snap from Matt Toledo, the long snapper. Gets a nice Rio bouncer across the 45-yard line. Tries to roll back towards the Bulldogs end zone. It'll be down at the Red Storm 44, and that's where the Bulldogs will start with the football. 4:20 to go in the quarter.
That almost hit their punt returner, too, and Rio would have pounced on it if it had. So this is a key situation right now. So Rio's defense just gave up a long drive. Felt like they should have been off the field with a turnover, but the call didn't go their way. Union Commonwealth puts up 8 points, and then Rio's offense gets 1 first down, but that then stalls out. Now Union Commonwealth gets really good field position at the minus 43. Rio's defense needs to get a 3 and out, swing this thing the other way.
Wick on to call the signals for this offense yet again. 2 receivers to each side, and he's got Jackson in the backfield. Play fakes to Jackson, now throws it. He's got a man across midfield, finally brought down at the Rio Grande 49-yard line, but able to connect with his receiver on the play there.
And Rio's giving these guys clean releases off the line of scrimmage. I don't like that trend early. But what's tough to stop these guys with is Union Commonwealth has had success running the ball. They want play action there, and so it's effective when you're able to run the ball consistently.
Jackson, he's a load in the backfield as well, 6'1", 235, so you got to respect it when Wick hands the football his way. Let's see if he does it here. He does hand it to Jackson. Jackson waiting for some running room, and yet again falls forward for a pickup of 3 yards. Just seems to be his default rushing number. It seems like it's hard to bring him down for less than that.
He's a big dude. He'll fall forward the vast majority of the time, and so you really have to be able to make him go east and west as soon as he gets the ball, and then everyone has to be flying to the ball getting downhill. So reset the downs here, 1st and 10 of the plus 45. Rio needs to step up and make a play here.
3:20 and ticking in the first quarter of play. Rio Grande trailing 8-0. Cooper Wick looks over the Red Storm defense, gets a snap, now hands to Jackson. Jackson gets through the first level, makes another man miss, trying to bounce to the outside. Hanging on looks like Francis on the near side, and finally able to bring him down around the 39-yard line, pickup of 6.
And Marlon Reed was flying downhill from his safety spot. Credit the big dude, the running back, really good, impressive elusiveness for a kid his size. Made Marlon Reed miss, and so, yeah, only a 6-yard gain. Would have only been a 1 or 2 yard game, but he showed the elusiveness to get some extra yards there.
It's Elijah Gay on the stop, not Francis, the Cincinnati DB. 2nd and 4 for this Bulldogs offense. Now pitches to Jackson around the right side. Hurdles a defender. Caught in midair. Looked like Moss got his hands on him, and Moss brings him down.
Nate Lopez was going low, and the running back got way up in this guy. Probably could have touched the top of the backboard on that play. Maybe not that, but
he was up there.
Yeah,
he was up there.
He got up there. It's so impressive reaction and athleticism there to get up and over. You got some extra yards there.
Good enough for a first down for the Bulldogs, who have the football at the Rio Grande 34-yard line, threatening yet again in Red Storm territory. Just haven't made many mistakes yet, has this Bulldogs offense. 3 receivers to the right for Wick. He's got Jackson to the right as well. Hands it to Jackson. Jackson trying to make a man miss, unable to do so. In on the stop initially was, I believe it was Isaiah McCory.
It was McCory. I think so. They ran it to Dakari Reese's side. McCory came off backside unblocked and was able to trip the running back up in the backfield. That's what you have to do with a big guy like that. When he gets downhill and has a full head of steam, he's much tougher to bring down.
2nd and 13, which is what you want if you're this Red Storm defense. Try to make this Bulldogs offense come away with things in the air. Don't let Tajee Jackson beat you back there. Wick looks over some things. 3 receivers to his left side. Running back to his right, that's Jackson in the backfield. Snapped, thrown, making a man miss. Now across the 30-yard line. Will be bringing up a 3rd and about 5, but able to connect with his man on that one. That was Erman Varner on the reception.
Once again, Rio went to that 6-up look where they've got 6 guys up in the line of scrimmage, all in a 2-point stance. The offense has no idea who's coming, who's not coming. Cooper Wick processed it, stayed poised, found the open man, delivered it accurately. So really big play here.
Huge.
Third and 5, they're at the plus 29. Rio needs to get a stop here.
Big time 3rd down here. 3rd and about 5 for the Bulldogs. Ball snap, turns, hands it to the back, and he's going to be blown up immediately. That was Quay Powell. Nothing going for the 6', 205 running back.
So Isaac McCory made the play again. So the play was designed to go to Dakari Reese's side. Dakari Reese turned it back the other way. And then when the back cut back, McCory was there to make the play. Really good team defense there.
That'll bring up 4th down in the end of the quarter here at Alumni Stadium after 1, 8-0. Union with the lead. We'll step aside. We'll be right back after we switch fields. You're listening to Red Storm Football on 96.7 WKOV. Welcome back to Alumni Stadium in Jackson, Ohio. Eric Landrum, Todd Worley with you today as the University of Rio Grande open up the 2nd quarter against the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs, currently trailing by a score of 8-0. Huge 4th and 5 ensuing here as both teams wrap up their timeout during the break here. And huge 4th and 5. Ball inside the Rio Grande 30. What are we looking for here, Todd?
Yeah, this is a really key sequence. So Union Commonwealth took over this series at the minus 43. If you're Rio, if you can keep points off the board in this situation, you feel great about that. Swing the momentum back the other way. So need to get pressure on the QB. I'm lining up Dakari Reese on the defense's left. I'm getting hands on Salation Strother. He's their go-to receiver. Don't give him a clean release off the line of scrimmage.
Let's see what the Bulldogs choose to do. 2 receivers to each side. Red Storm playing tighter defense in the secondary. Jackson in the backfield. Ball snap. Looks over the middle of the field. That is caught. And that is a wide open, running back. And that is not Jackson in the backfield. That's Quay Powell. And his reception is good for a 1st down.
Man, the brakes aren't going out. So Rio blitzed Joris Gibson, the linebacker. He came free, gets his hands up in the passing lane, tips the ball, and it just flops up in the air, and then it goes right into the hands of the running back for the 1st down. Man, Rio had the perfect call, executed it well, didn't get the bounce on that play.
Coach Thurston is animated down here on the near side of the field, challenging his defense to come away with a huge stop here in red zone territory. Bulldogs come to the line with a receiver in the backfield. It's handed off, and it is Powell. And Powell with a man on his back. picks up about 6 yards, and it's going to be 2nd and 4 for the Bulldogs.
George Gibson again. So they ran to Dakari Reese's side. He, again, did a really good job setting the edge there, turned it back inside. Gibson gets downhill, makes a play, but still a 6-yard gain. At some point, Ryle's going to have to make some more plays, turn those into 1 or 2 yard gains to really put them up against it in long yard situations.
Threatening to come away with some points here are the Bulldogs. Witt calls out signals. He's got a man to each side. Now hands off to Powell. Powell looking for running room. He's got a first down across the Red Storm 10-yard line now at the 9. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Bulldogs. And we've got a Red Storm defender down on the field. As the injured Red Storm defender is tended to here. Go ahead and give you some AAC scores at the moment. Reinhardt currently leading Bluefield, or actually Reinhardt defeating Bluefield this afternoon, 35-12. Pikeville leading Point at the moment in the third quarter with 7 minutes remaining, 55-3. 55-3. So we'll step aside here as the Red Storm defender gets up and off the field. We will be right back. You're listening to 96.7 WKOV. Welcome back to Alumni Stadium. Eric Landrum, Todd Worley with you. 13:27 to go in the second quarter. Union leading Rio Grande 8-0. 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. Union threatening points. Powell in the backfield with Cooper Wick. Tied in to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Wick hands off to Powell. Powell across the 5-yard line, just hard downhill running. And that's Lopez in on the stop yet again, but the Bulldogs inside the 5.
Rile's defense has to step up right now. So we got 2nd and goal at the 5. They're about to snap it quickly. Someone needs to make a play. A field goal is now to get me from here, so you can still keep points off the board. Bulldogs
choosing to go with some tempo. Wick hands it off to Powell yet again. And Powell trying, and the ball's still alive. No quick whistle from these officials today. They're letting them play out down there. Ball's going to be at the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Dakari Reese is down on the field, too. I hope
bad sign,
okay.
Yeah.
He actually made a nice play. So they ran it inside. He stepped inside and was able. He had the running back wrapped up for a no gain, and then they're able to move the pile. Hope he's okay.
He's in a lot of pain down there. We hate to do it, but we're going to step aside yet again here. Get things back on time here. You're listening to Red Storm Football 96.7 WKOV. Welcome back to Alumni Stadium in Jackson, where the University of Rio Grande currently trail the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs 8-0. Good to see Dakari Reese back out there on both feet as he is going to try to get himself off the field here at Alumni Stadium. Slowly, but under his own power at least. I got to think that's somewhat of a good sign.
You look at Rio's got some good players on defense, but him and Nate Lopez are the ringleaders, I think. And so really good players that play hard can make big plays for you, and losing him would be a big blow for Rio.
Huge 3rd down and 1. They're firing the T-shirt cannons off. It's such a big 3rd down, Todd.
Where are our T-shirts?
I know, right? We'll have to open these windows up, see if they can get them up here. Wick stands in the backfield. He's got Powell beside him, 2 tight ends. He hands to Powell. Powell stuffed initially, reaching across the end zone. And the far side ref signals touchdown as they about got one of the T-shirts up here, Todd. But it is going to be a Bulldogs score. It's going to be 14-0.
Right when he reached the ball over the goal line, Rio knocked it out and recovered it, but I think that the refs ruled that it had already broken the play. And Rio was that close to stopping him. Rio almost had that one.
12:22 to go in the first quarter of this contest. And on to kick it away for the PAT is the freshman kicker, Jace Gagger.
And Rio blocked one earlier. Let's see if they can do it again.
Snap is down, hold is good, kick is up, and it may have been wide left. It is wide left, and the score will stand, Todd, at 14-0, 12:22 remaining in the second quarter.
So he actually got it. The one that he had blocked was a line drive, and then that one he got some height on it, but then just hooked it to the left. So keep that in the memory bank for later in the game. If this is still a close game in the fourth quarter, those PATs or short field goals are not a given whatsoever. This is such a crucial series for the Rio offense. You've got a defense that's been on the field. We are 17 and a half minutes into this game, and Rio's defense has been on the field for almost all of it. So, and it's a warm day, and what has happened over the course of the season, these guys are worn down. So Rio's offense has to possess the ball here. You'd love to get some points, but at the very least have to move the ball, buy your defense some rest, and start to get this Union Commonwealth offense out of the rhythm by forcing them to sit on the sidelines for a little bit.
Time of possession certainly not in the favor of the Red Storm, at least at the moment. 12:22 to go in the first quarter. Union leads 14-0 over the Red Storm. Freshman kicker on for the Bulldogs to kick it away. He'll be kicking to Josiah Ayers and Mike Elmore. Kick is up. It is fielded by Moore now at the 25, trying to cross the 30. He does cross the 30, but he pays for it as he is hammered on the return. And that was number 11, Andre Johnson, on the hit.
Big hit by their kickoff team. So we talked about Ty Ellis, the defensive end for Union Commonwealth, really good player. And Rio hasn't been double teaming him early in this one. He's already wreaking havoc. If you're going to throw the ball on these guys, you have to double team them. If you're going to run the ball, I don't run to that guy anytime. And so I think the play calling has to reflect the fact that you're playing against a player that good.
The Rio offense trots back onto the field, in a little bit better field position this time than they were after the first kickoff. Let's see if the Red Storm offense can come away with points. Moulter takes the snap, fakes the handoff, trying to hit Kashili in the flats, unable to do so. Not where Moulter wanted the ball, but a nice play fake, and Rio had the opportunity on first down to come away with some yards.
It was. I love their play call. And they have their second defensive line, and so Ty Ellis is not on the field. Rio, great drive starting play call. They run the bootleg. Moulter has Kachili in the flat, wide open, easy 8-yard gain if he hits him, throws it behind him. Still could have been caught. You need to lead them a little bit more than that.
They have not thrown the ball or run the ball on first down, I don't believe, has Rio Grande yet. Under center is Moulter, now takes a snap, hands off, and the play is blown up immediately. And it looks like number 7 for Pikeville in the backfield, and you mentioned it, Samuel Hawthorne. That is the guy. And he had his pick. He could have tackled whichever guy with the ball he wanted there.
I think we've got a new definition for blown up because he literally could have taken the handoff, could have tackled both of them at once. Was in there immediately. Yeah, so now it's third down. Now they put Ty Ellis back on the field. Rio is in 3rd and 14. If Rio is going to throw the ball, you have to double team Ty Ellis. And then also looking for Samuel Hawthorne as a blitzer. Those are the two guys you have to neutralize in order to give the QB enough time.
Very precarious spot for the Red Storm. 2 receivers to each side. Kashili in motion to the near side here. Now 3 receivers to the left. Ball snap. Moulter steps up. Has a man. It's Beamer Walker. Walker with the catch. And that's going to be good for a Red Storm first down. And that might be the most on-time throw we've seen from this Red Storm offense all season.
It was a great catch by Walker going up and getting it to move the chains, but Peyton Moulter had to throw that high because the linebacker is underneath. He just cleared his outstretched hand by about an inch to get it right over his hand. That was the only way he was going to complete the ball, by throwing it that high. Great execution by the QB and receiver there.
I think I saw 3 Red Storm defenders sitting on the benches throw their hands up, thanking whoever the football god is for that completion, and they get to sit on the bench, at least hopefully here for another 3. 2 receivers to each side here for Moulter. He's under center. Hands off to Cartwright. Cartwright looking for running room, not able to find anything, and he's going to be brought down pretty close to the original line of scrimmage.
So it's so hard calling plays when you can't run the ball, right? And so, but you can't be completely one-dimensional where you're throwing every single time. So you have to run at times. When is the right time to do it? That's a challenge when you're calling plays for a team that can't run the ball and struggles to protect the passer. It's really challenging.
And the big Italian H-back, Shilly, is trotting off the field as well. He's going to be tended to on the sideline. Moulter in the shotgun here. Cartwright to his left. 3 receivers to the left side with him. Moulter takes a snap, rolling out, sets up, looks downfield. He's looking for Walker, not able to connect. And luckily on that one, the ball falls incomplete as the DB, that was Kiki McMurray, had a shot to come away with the interception.
And Rio's sideline wanted the flag. I get it, there was contact, but McMurray had his head turned around, was watching the ball and playing the ball. I'm good with a no call there.
Yeah, McMurray in his hip pocket the whole time on that one. Rio not able to connect. Brings up a big 3rd down and 10 for the Red Storm.
Would love to get a screen going. When you're playing against a really good pass rusher, take advantage of that. Draw them upfield, hit something behind them.
4 receivers in the set. Bulldogs showing pressure. They send it. Moulter sets up. Got a man downfield. And the ball intended for Michael Moore is thrown over the head and out of bounds of Moore, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Red Storm.
And Ty Ellis almost broke Peyton Moulter in half, and it should have been holding on Ryle. He beat the left tackle off the edge quickly and then was closing in fast. The left tackle held him. That wasn't called, I think, but that last-minute pressure is what caused the inaccuracy because Ryle did have a receiver open downfield. If Moulter delivers it accurately, we've got the long gain on that play.
Clock stops at 9:50 to go in the second quarter. Red Storm trailing 14-0. On to kick it away is Andy Meldick. Back on the other side of his own 30. Snap good, the punt is high over the head of Strotter, and it's going to go into the end zone. And that'll be a 57-yard punt by the time it's all said and done. And I'm pretty sure it's still rolling at the moment. Unfortunately, a touchback, but a heck of a kick off the foot of Meldick yet again.
It was. I'd love to get the bounce, though, and pin that thing inside the 5 or 10-yard line. Mm-hmm. But so still, you love the distance on it. Just we love to be able to see the ball check up a little bit. So now this is – Ryle's up against it right now. You're down 14-0. Your defense has been on the field a lot. And this offense, this Union Commonwealth offense has gotten into rhythm early in this game. If Ryo can get a 3 and out, create some good field position, set the offense up, turn things the other way, that's what needs to happen here.
On for the Bulldogs is the junior quarterback, Wick, to call things out. He stands in the backfield, takes a snap, hands to Jackson. Jackson runs over a Rio defender. Looked like Meldick coming up to make the contact, but it looks like maybe a hold. Yep. Against the Bulldogs.
They held Dakari Reese, so the man over him blocked down, then the puller came and Dakari Reese beat the block, and the guy held him. That's what they called. Good call by the refs.
And it is going to back up the Bulldogs here.
And great to see Dakari Reese back on the field. It looked a little iffy when he went down there and was on the ground for a while. So
some tough defenders on this Red Storm defense. Reese, Lopez.
Yeah.
Guys that you see just battling night in and night out. Can't tell me it doesn't mean anything to these guys. Ball's going to be backed up to the 10-yard line of the Bulldogs. They'll have to go 90 yards to come away with some points here.
And Coach Thurston touched on that in his interview with you where he was talking about the culture of this program. These guys lay it all on the line no matter what the situation is. And that's a great sign for growth.
Really good sign here. Cooper Wick in the shotgun here. 2 receivers to his right. He now hands off to Jackson. Jackson looking for running room, not able to come away with anything. And Dakari Reese off the far side, able to come away with the backside stop.
That was team defense, yeah. So Dakari Reese slanted in from the backside, but the front side held the point of attack, slowed the back down enough for the backside to come and make the play. Really good team defense there. 2nd and 18. This is where Ryo has to do something here. We love you're putting them in a passing situation. We'd love to heat this QB up, force him to throw the ball up for grabs, get a turnover, swing the momentum in this game.
Turnover, come away with some good field position, force him to a short punt, something. Here, let's see what the Red Storm come up with. Oh. All right. And we will see where we stand from here. Sorry, we're having some technical issues up here. We're getting them figured out here with you. Wick gets the snap, looks across the middle of the field, has a man on the short hook, crosses the 40-yard line, just shy of the 45.
Have the offense backed up, and you need to make a play in that situation. Rio was close to making a play, but sometimes close isn't enough. And so, man, it seems like every time Rio is right there to make a play and swing the momentum, they're not making it happen. But long way to go in this one. We'd love to see the defense step up right now.
Let's see what the Red Storm defense can do in a tough spot. 7:35 to go in the second quarter. They trail 14-0. Ball snapped, handed off to Jackson, and he's going to be good for a first down. And after a pickup of about 5, they'll move the sticks.
Interestingly, Rio isn't subbing as much as they usually do on defense, especially given this situation that Union's possessing the ball so much and moving the chains. I like that on one hand. I think you want to keep your best guys out there as much as possible. They should be in shape by this point. But then you do worry about late in the game, if this is a close game still, what's Rio going to have left in the tank at that point?
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs, looking to threaten across the 50-yard line. Wick steps up, 2 receivers to each side. Ball snapped. Wick's going to look to throw it. He's got a man across the seam. He's able to connect. And across the 35-yard line, that's going to be good for another Bulldogs first down.
Rio didn't get any pressure, gave the QB all day to process back there, and he did. Throws a nice intermediate ball, hits his receiver on the strike and to move the chain. So if Rio's got to start to change the defensive looks up, blitz some, go back to that 6-up look, do something to throw this QB, get this QB off of a spot.
3 receivers to the left for the Bulldogs, 1 to the right. Cooper Wick stands in the backfield with a running back to his right. He gets a snap, he hands off. It's Jackson. Jackson bounces off of 1. Now, trying to get around the edge, Andy Meldick says no, sir, making a huge play in space, and that could have saved a touchdown from Jackson.
Really could. He'd still be running. A nice tackle in space by Meldick, so instead of 6 points on the board, you've got 2nd and 8 now, so opportunity for your defense to make a play now.
Ball at the 30-yard line, 2nd and 8. 14-0, Union leading this game now under 6 minutes to go in the first half.
So after being run heavy early in this game, Union's kind of trending more towards a balanced offensive look right now.
Jackson Wick looks over the Rio defense. They show 6 down linemen. Ball snap, they send all 6. Cooper Wick tries to keep it, but he is swallowed up immediately in the backfield on the stop. And that's Pierre Ricks.
It was, and great play by Hicks. So when you go against a zone read, it's all about assignment football and being disciplined. So one guy is assigned to the back no matter what. One guy's assigned to the QB no matter what. And often what happens is the guy assigned to the QB gets his eyes on the running back, leaves the QB wide open. Rio played that perfectly. Credit to Hicks there.
Huge 3rd and 10 opportunity for the Red Storm. 2 receivers to each side for the Bulldogs. They've got Jackson in the backfield with Cooper Wick. Ball snapped. Wick gets the snap, looks to his left. Ball's thrown, and that's thrown out of bounds. It's going to be incomplete, and it'll bring up 4th and 10. We'll see if this is 4-down territory for the Bulldogs. It looks to be initially.
So safety Andy Meldick was there breaking down hill on that. If the receiver turns, though, he would have had a chance to catch the ball. I have no idea why he never turned his head. But advantage Rio, though. So 4th and 10, really big play here. Need to create some pressure. So on that last play, Rio blitzed the linebacker off the edge. I'm keeping Dakari Reese outside, blitzing a linebacker either off of the opposite edge of Dakari Reese or blitzing up the middle.
Trotting onto the field is the senior backup quarterback, Bryson Grabowski. And it looks like he'll take the snap here. 2 wings and 2 receivers to each side. He may step back and give it a booch punt, and that's exactly what he does. High spiraling punt down around the 15-yard line, now inside the 10, inside the 5. And, I mean, everything that's gone against Rio today can. That ball's going to be down at the 6-inch line for the Red Storm.
Maybe the 1-inch line. What a bounce. They got almost went out of bounds and just kept going. Wow. So it has been one of those days so far. But you know what? Like, there's still a full 2 quarters and 4 minutes left in this game. And so it's time for those bounces to just start going the other way now. And Rio has to create their own breaks. And so the offense is backed up, but what better than a 99-yard drive You're down 14-0, 99-yard drive, cut it to 14-7, and get back in this game.
Sure would make it feel like a much more livable world. But as the cheerleaders play with the inflatable dice down on the sidelines, we're also in a dicey situation at the moment. So let's see how it plays out for us here. Getting the snap is Moulter, and he sneaks it to the left side, and he's going to give us some breathing room. Picks up about 3-4 yards on the quarterback sneak. Take a breath, Red Storm fans.
There you go. So left tackle and left guard had a nice double team, create some movement, and Moulter followed them for a positive gain on first down to where he's not standing in his end zone.
It'll be 2nd and 6, 7 yards, somewhere in that ballpark. 2nd and 7, the official number. And we'll see what they do. Moulter gets a snap. Little trap play to the left. Cartwright not able to get anything going there. That hole closed up quickly.
That's a tricky situation. So it's 2nd and 7. You'd love to be out of 3rd and long, especially backed up this far, because the last thing you want is to commit a turnover. So I probably would have thrown on that play. Now it's a more obvious passing situation. It'll be interesting to see what Rio dials up here.
3rd and about 5 for the Red Storm here. Moulter looking over things. He's got 3 receivers to his right. Now brings Kashili in motion. Back out to the right goes the big tight end. Looks to his right. Has a man out there. A little off time. Intended towards Beamer Walker, and that pass is going to fall incomplete. Now Rio's backed up at a punting situation in their own end zone.
Beamer Walker around a 15-yard. That one was wide open, and Moulter just missed him. That's it. Wasn't under a ton of pressure. Had the receiver open. If he makes that completion, like football's a game of inches, and sometimes moving the chains that one time changes everything.
Right.
Rest your defense more. The offense gets into rhythm. You get points on the board. Get the crowd involved. Sometimes that's all it takes is that one play, and Rio wasn't able to make it there.
Meldick about a yard from the back of his own end zone here. On to kick it away.
Have to protect here. I bet they're going to bring it.
Ball snapped. They only rush a couple. Meldick kicks it away. High spiraling kick. Backing up again is Strotter. He backs up to midfield. Should be a flag on the play. There will be a flag thrown late. Strotter crosses midfield, takes a huge hit. I think that was J.T. Jenkins on the shot. And the big tackle comes away with a huge hit on the punt. Some laundry down around the Bulldogs' 44-yard line. Should be a clip on this play. Block in the back, whatever you'd like to call it.
Yeah, and let's just say, would you want to get tackled by a guy who's 6'3", 265?
Not on punt return.
I'm not signing up for that. But, so think about Meldick standing with his heels against the end line, just launches a punt to flip the field. Then Rio is going to get the block in the back on top of that. That could be a big. If Rio comes back to win this game, that could be one of the plays that swings it, because they were in a position to where Union Commonwealth easily could have taken over in Rio territory. Now they're going to be backed up to around the 30-yard line or so. Great way to flip the field.
That's a Division I punt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kicking the ball from his own goal, from well inside his own end zone across midfield. That's a Division I kick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just call it what it is. That's a nice high point for this Red Storm offense. Special teams, I should say. And now the defense comes back out, simulating some pressure. 3 minutes to go in this late part of the half. 3 timeouts for Union. You got to think that they're going to try to run something, get some more points on the board here. 2 tight ends in the look, 2 receivers in the backfield for Cooper Wick. He gets a snap, hands off. It's to Jackson. Jackson picks up just a couple of yards that time, and we held him beyond the 3.
This front 3 for Rio is really playing well against the run. Cade Woods there, really nice job at the point of attack. Held the point of attack, sheds a block, and was able to make the tackle for a short gain. So this is a really key sequence here. So the clock is running. They haven't used a timeout yet, but you have to think if Union Commonwealth gets a first down, they're going to start to push the tempo a little bit. Great opportunity for Rio to get a stop here, get the ball back, and maybe get some points on the board before halftime.
Look for something play action here, trying to get this tempo going for Union. Let's see what they do. 3 receivers to the right, back in the backfield, far receiver to the left. Looks to his left, nothing there. Now throws it to his left, but that ball falls incomplete. And that was Roderick Moss Jr. on the coverage, just blanketing the receiver on the far side.
He really was. Love the coverage there. Rio still needs to get some pressure, though. They have Rio's rushing 3. They're double teaming Dakar Reese, and nobody else is getting home. So if they're going to do that, which I would too if I'm going against Rio, I would double team him as well. So need to blitz some guys in order to create some pressure on the QB.
Huge third down. Let's see if the Red Storm can come away with a much-needed stop defensively. Wick's going to take this snap with 3 to his right. And he gets a snap, looks to his right, now throwing. It's going to be a jump ball. And 1v1 in another blanket situation here on the near side. And the Red Storm is going to come up with a stop. Nice coverage by Elijah Gay.
Such a big stop. And Dakar Reese beat his man off of the edge, and then it looked like Malachi Smith was right there, played the ball well. Rio defense stepped up, got a big 3 and out, 2:04 to go. We still have the 2-minute timeout coming up, and Rio's got 3 timeouts left, so there's plenty of time to generate some offense heading into the break.
The last punt by Grabowski was down at the 1-foot line. Let's see if the Red Storm can come away with some better field position this time around. I have to hope so.
Can't get much worse, can it?
I don't think so. You'll be a no-kill if so. That punt is a wobbly one to the far side of the field. And it'll be decent field position for the Red Storm to start the drive. They'll have the ball at their own 45-yard line, and that's where we will take a break here for the 2-minute timeout. Keep it right here. You're listening to Red Storm Football 96.7 WKOV. Welcome back. You're listening to Red Storm Football 96.7 WKOV, the home for Red Storm Football. 2 minutes to go, 1:55 to go here in the first half from Alumni Stadium. University of Rio Grande trailing the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs 14-0. And now the Red Storm offense are going to have 55 yards to go and, well, 1:55 to do it here. And we'll see what they come up with, Todd.
And 3 timeouts, too. And, would love to get even 3 points, just have something to feel good about going into the break. Rio's going to get the ball first to start the second half as well, so you could potentially get 2 scores here. 2 touchdowns wouldn't be bad, right? Tie this game up early in the third quarter. Yeah, so you got plenty of time with 3 timeouts at your disposal. Clock stops on the first down. You're only 55 yards away from the end zone. Plenty of time here for Rio.
Moulter looking things over for the Red Storm offense. Bunch 3 receivers to his left. Ball snap, looks to the bunch, throws it, has a man. Ball is picked off. The first throw of the series. And that one is intercepted by the sophomore, number 24, Cyrus Satterfield. That's not what you wanted if you're the Red Storm.
No, miscommunication. Moulter was trying to back shoulder the receiver. The receiver didn't stop in time and didn't adjust. And there you have the pick. And so, we talked about Ty Ellis, the defensive end. Rio had them double teamed with the tackle and the running back. He beat both of them. The kid's a really good player. He got pressure on Moulter, forced the ball to come out sooner, and the receiver wasn't ready for it.
Red Storm defense back on the field. The Bulldogs will start with the football at their own 42-yard line, 1:49 to go, and 3 timeouts. And like we said, not what you drew up if you were the Red Storm offense on that last one. Getting the defense back on the field. They've been on the field quite a bit in this first half already. See if they can come away with another stop. Cooper Wick on for the Bulldogs. He gets a snap, looks to his left, throwing up the sidelines on the wheel route, and that ball is incomplete. On the coverage is Roderick Moss. Yet again, nice coverage.
It really was. And then, Dakar Reese is getting double teamed and no one else is generating pressure. Rio isn't blitzing. So that was actually really, to a covered receiver, that was a really well thrown deep ball. And then, so Rio's playing with fire if you let this QB sit back there and process and have all day. So need to create some pressure on this guy.
Bulldogs coming back to the line of scrimmage. 3 receivers to the right for Wick. He's got a running back in the backfield to his left. It's Jackson. Ball snapped, handed off. It is Jackson. Jackson looking for running room up the middle, able to get a little bit, picking up about 7 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 3 at the Bulldogs 48.
They're not calling timeout. I'm sure if they get this first down, I'm sure they'll pick up the pace. But this is a really key play here. For Rio can get a stop, keep points off the board before halftime, and then maybe even block a punt and make something happen before the break here.
Able to come away with a stop. It would be the least amount of points the Red Storm have trailed by at the half this season. 1:10 and ticking to go. Wick with 3 receivers to his left. He gets a snap, now looking to his left. Has a man. And it is number 5 on the reception. It's going to be good for a first down, but that's Erman Varner on the catch.
Yeah, impressive catch by Varner there. So the QB, it looked like intentionally threw it behind him to keep him upright and have him cut back outside after he caught it. Varner adjusted, caught it outside of his frame to move the chains for his offense. Great, really good play.
And there's some extracurricular stuff going on the field. Dakari Reese and Tajee Jackson into it. And we thought we were giving away an award for Flop of the Year a week ago. I think Jackson may have just taken it if you didn't see it there.
I actually didn't catch a flop. I think Dakari is frustrated. He's getting double teamed, and he feels like he's getting held on top of that, and he's playing his tail off. He knows he needs to be the one to create pressure, and it's not happening when he's getting double teamed. That's got to be really frustrating.
We got a timeout on the field here. We'll keep it with you. They're going to trot him back on here. 54.4 remaining in the first half of play. Union takes its first timeout. They lead 14-0 over the Red Storm. They've got the football. 1st and 10 in Red Storm territory. Ball at the Rio Grande 47-yard line. What are you expecting to see here on 1st and 10?
So they have time to run the ball. They've had enough success running the ball where it's not out of the question. They've got 2 timeouts and the clock would stop, but still have to assume it's going to be a pass. Need to get some pressure. Dakari Reese is lined up on the left side, which I like against the weaker tackle. Still need to blitz someone off the other side, though.
Cooper Witt calling out signals. He takes the snap, looks to his right, lets it go, has a man. It's caught crossing the 40-yard line of the Red Storm, and that ball's caught by number 9, sophomore receiver Dom Jones. A little bit of tempo from the Bulldogs here as the clock ticks under 40. Wick back to the line, 2 receivers to each side. They get the snap. He looks to his right, undercutting the route.
Got it.
Oh, and just dropping it is Pierre Hicks. And it looked like the sophomore linebacker had a game-changing interception.
It looked like he did. Great break by him, great ball skills, and now there's a flag. I think that Union Commonwealth is playing that's against Rio. I didn't see what happened, though.
Dead balls after the play.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be... Dakari Reese has been ejected from the game. Dakari Reese just got tossed.
I didn't see what happened.
I missed it.
And obviously, losing a player of that caliber really hurts. And then in this situation, time and score. Now they had it at the 37. Now that the refs are marching down to the 22.
So Dakari Reese exits the game for the afternoon for the Red Storm, and that is a huge blow defensively to this front. But forget looking ahead for just a moment. Let's look at what's right now. 29.1 to go. The ball is going to be moved to the Red Storm 24-yard line. I mean, just handing away free yards.
It's a really costly penalty.
That's a tough one.
In so many ways, yeah.
That's a tough one. 3 receivers to the left for the Bulldogs. Witt gets the snap, now looks, dumps it off to Jackson. Nate Lopez runs 15 yards downhill, misses the first tackle, but able to blow the play up from the start. Nate Lopez saw it before the offense called it, I think.
Yeah, the instincts, the aggressiveness, and the explosiveness, really impressive there. He didn't make the play, but he did slow him down enough. Key sequence here, so 22.2 left in the game. They're at the 20 in the half. I'm sorry, they're at the 23. As we've seen, their field goal operation isn't great, so you have to think they're probably not going to kick unless they get inside the 10 at the very least.
22.2 to go. Ball at the 23. Wick looking things over for the Bulldogs. He gets a snap now. Looking, has a man to the right. He's able to connect with his receiver, but he is blown up right away, and that's Elijah Gay on the stop.
We've called his name a lot today, and so timeout. Union Commonwealth 15.3 to go. Despite the Dakari Reese loss, despite all the breaks have gone against Rio, the Red Storm have a great chance here to keep points off the board. I don't, would Union and Commonwealth risk a field goal knowing they could easily get blocked and let Rio back in the game with a long return? I don't know. I would say probably not. And so someone has to step up in Dakari Reese's absence, create some pressure. Someone in the back end needs to make a play now.
Let's see what this Red Storm defense can come up with as they are working to hold on to the tightest margin that they have had at the half on the year, which would be 14 if they can come away with a stand here. We'll see. Big possession, big opportunity. It'll be 3rd and 6, and we get both teams back onto the field here.
They probably have 3 plays left in the half, and so if they they don't need to score on this play. Obviously, they need to get a first down. They have a timeout still, so they can. The middle of the field is available, and the clock stops on when the chains move. But then also they would have the timeout if they needed to.
Bulldogs will come to the line when the ball is set for play with 2 receivers to each side. Taji Jackson stands to the right of Cooper Wick in the backfield. Red Storm showing pressure. Ball snap. They send 4. Looking over the middle of the field. Ball is thrown, almost intercepted. And the Red Storm safety, Marlon Reed, had an opportunity at it just through his outstretched jumping fingers.
He did. Credit to the Rio secondary, though. Rio's still not getting any pressure on this QB, but the Rio secondary really had the receivers bracketed. And now it looks like they are going to attempt a field goal here. If I'm Rio, this is exactly what I want. 10 seconds left in the half. Golden opportunity to get a block and maybe a return here. Have to be bringing the heat here on this one. You've got the backup QB as a holder, though. They could fake this.
Keeping eye on the holder. On the kick it away is number 35, Ben Brenda. And the left-footed kicker. Snap is high. It's down. The kick is off the left upright, and it doinks out. The Red Storm defense holds. 3.9 to go. And you have to think at this point the Red Storm will just take a knee on it. Coach Thurston and his defense are fired up down there.
When he first made contact with it, I didn't think he had the distance on it.
I didn't either.
He did, though. It was a lot closer than I thought. But guess what? Guess who just got a bounce for once? the
Red Storm,
right?
Yeah.
It's big. Every bounce has been going the other way.
Yeah.
Finally went Rio's way. The ball hits upright. Instead of going in, it bounces back out. So now, going to the locker room down 14-0. Could things have been better in the first half? Of course, but you're in a ball game now.
And it looks like Moulter will take a knee. And that's exactly what he's going to do. And that'll bring us to the end of the first half here at Alumni Stadium, where the University of Rio Grande trail the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs by a score of 14-0. Go ahead, make sure you stick around for the Red Storm halftime report presented by Hire. We're going to be joined by the man, the myth, the legend, no other than Randy Payton himself, Sports Information Director down on the farm at the University of Rio Grande. And he lives a busy Saturday like the rest of us, but he's going to be stepping in to join us here on the Red Storm Halftime Report presented by Hire. When we return, though, more of the recap from the first half with Eric Landrum, Todd Worley. Keep it right here. You're listening to Red Storm Football on 96.7 WKOV. Welcome back. You're listening to the Red Storm Halftime Report presented by Hire. Eric Landrum, Todd Worley with you from Alumni Stadium in Jackson, where the University of Rio Grande currently trail the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs by a score of 14-0. And we got the stats in hand, Todd. We'll get to those here in just a little while. We'll be joined by Red Storm SID Randy Payton here in just a few moments as well. But let's go ahead and get to the first half. What did you see from the first half action of play from the Red Storm today?
So I think Rio's honestly fortunate to be down 14-0 right now. So it could have been a lot worse. And given the offense hasn't really gotten much going today, and the defense has been on the field so much, it feels like in previous games there would have been a big play late in the half where this would be 21-0 or 24-0 at this point. But so Rio's, I think, a little bit fortunate to be in this situation. But now the offense takes the ball to open the second half. Golden opportunity. Like if I'm an offensive player, especially after seeing Dakari Reese get ejected,
yes,
I'm thinking this defense has busted their tails all season long. Dakari Reese leading the way. It's our turn to do something. And so the offense gets the ball first. They have to do something on this drive. Have to move it down and get some points out of this drive. Get something going, start to wear down the Union Commonwealth defense, and then create some pressure on the Union Commonwealth offense to where now you're in a one-possession game, and now you're one play away from giving up the lead. And so I think that so much of the outcome of this game is going to come down to this opening series of the second half for the Rio offense.
We'll see what the Rio Grande offense can do for the defense, though. They've been on the field, Todd, 22-59 of the first half, so almost 23 minutes of the 30. The Red Storm defense has been on the field. What impact does that play heading into the second half?
So, I mean, your Rio's thin at certain positions anyway, even with the starters, and then when those guys get worn out, it just puts so much pressure. Like using the word pressure, like Rio's struggled late in the half to create any pressure on the QB. Now that your guy who's the best at doing that, Dakari Reese, is out for the rest of the game. He got ejected, and so Rio's that's why if Rio doesn't score in this first possession, I think they're in trouble because at some point this defense is going to wear out, and you've got a QB who's in rhythm, and the secondary is playing well for Rio, but there's only so much they can do when the QB has all day back there, and I don't know. And Rio's going to have to figure out a way to manufacture some pressure with some blitzes, or have some guys that were backups step up and emerge in the second half. So, but yeah, all comes down to the Rio offense. I think they have to have their best. I think they have to play at least as well as they did in the first half against Pikeville, but turn those drives into points to win this game. That's
really what it's going to come down to. Just got to get some points on the board. You can keep drives going. Right now, the Red Storm are 1 for 4 on third down. Their opponents are 3 for 7 on third down and 1 for 1 on fourth down. Just got to find ways to get your offense on the field and keep them on the field and move the football. We're going to step aside and get to our first break here as the Red Storm marching band are on the field. Again, absolutely beautiful day for Red Storm football here on the hill at Alumni Stadium. Sun shining in the high 70s today. We'll step aside here. When we return, Randy Payton is going to hop on here with us and talk about not only Red Storm football, not only Red Storm basketball, but all athletics down on the farm. And I'm sure he's thrilled to be doing so. We're ready to have Randy join us. We'll step aside. We'll be back in 2 minutes on the Red Storm Halftime Report presented by Hire. Welcome back to the Red Storm Halftime Report presented by Hire. Eric Landrum, Todd Worley with you from Alumni Stadium in Jackson. And now we are joined by the man, the myth, the sports legend himself down on the farm. One of the most appreciated men amongst the student athletes, men amongst student athletes down on the farm, Randy Payton, taking the time to join us. Thank you, sir. I know your Saturdays are busy.
I'm more myth than anything.
You can't hear it. You can't hear it at the moment?
I can't.
Okay, well, give me a moment here. We'll make sure we'll change that. Don't you worry. Are we there? Are you with me now?
I still can't hear you.
You still can't hear me?
I can read lips.
Well, hang on. Let's get you turned up. My gosh.
There.
Wow.
Now I can hear myself.
We're all in a better place now. Randy Payton.
I love me some me.
Well, you couldn't hear me over this Red Storm marching band is what it was, right?
Correct. Yeah.
You got busy Saturdays now. You've always had busy Saturdays, but they look a little bit differently for you since the introduction of football. Talk to me about the introduction of not only football, but the marching band and the dance team, the cheerleaders, all of it that you're seeing on Saturdays from the perspective of a gentleman that's watched Red Storm athletics for nearly 2 decades down on the farm.
Well, it's obviously now just, we've got in excess or right around 800 student athletes if you include the marching band in that, and there's just a lot of things to try to keep track of.
I'm
and
sure.
as I grow older and older, it gets harder to do that.
How do you do it?
It's really tough. Right now we've got football going on here in Jackson. We've got a soccer doubleheader that just got underway back at Rio. So you set up that before you hit the road to come to Jackson, and then you go back and you finish the soccer when you're done with football here. It's crazy.
And I'm convinced you haven't slept in about 10 years. I've been getting emails from you since I was an undergrad student down on the farm. But you do such a wonderful job of covering all of these things. And Rio's got a lot going for it in the athletics department. Forget the additions, but you're the voice of the Red Storm basketball programs that have been 2 great programs, not only over the years, but we're heading into that time of the year. What can we look forward to as we get ready for the Bevo tournament and things like that in the winter? Excuse me.
Men's basketball pick number 1 in the River States Conference. The ladies pick number 2, and we talk about everything going on in the fall. Obviously football, and it's hard for me to try to comprehend that in 2 weeks we've got basketball.
That's crazy, isn't it? And a birthday coming up, so happy early birthday for you on that.
That's my birthday present is football on the front side of it and basketball on the back side.
Even less sleep than usual, right?
I don't sleep very much at all anymore.
Right.
So obviously this is a big transitional period for the university. What's been the biggest change since the university has announced football, and now we're seeing all of this in exercise? We're seeing it all unfold in real time.
Well, like I said, I think it's the influx of the number of student athletes that you have. There's obviously a lot to try to keep track of, and obviously it's going to gain more steam once they finally are able to pick up a win, and hopefully that will happen at some point this year. But if not, obviously they'll come back and try again next year. But there's just a whole lot of excitement going on. It's a great undertaking on the part of the athletic department to handle the addition of football. But I think given the limited staff that we have, we've done a pretty good job of it thus far.
I would have to agree with you. And it seems like a program that they have a lot to learn, but they've got other really good programs to learn from. You've probably got a better overall understanding than anybody of Rio Grande athletics and the success that each of these individual programs are having at the moment. Talk to me about all of the programs across the board, not just the fall, not just the winter, but everything.
Well, you've got, as we go on here in the fall, you've got women's volleyball and both of our soccer teams that are in the upper half of the conference.
Yeah.
Women's volleyball has now lost 2 in a row after a loss to St. Mary of the Woods last night, but they came into the weekend with a 20-7 record, so obviously they're having some success. Men's soccer played a tremendously tough non-conference schedule to start the year, but now they are into league play. They did lose at West Virginia Tech the other night. They'll play Midway a little later tonight down at Evan E. Davis Field, but they're right there in the upper echelon of the River States Conference. And the women got a big win the other night against West Virginia Tech. They're 5-3-5, and I think 3-1-1 as they head into play right now against Midway. So in terms of the fall sports, obviously football struggling a little bit,
Sure.
but But everybody else is doing pretty well, and like I said, we're getting geared up for winter, which includes indoor track and field. While I'm thinking about it, for the fall, I should mention both of our cross-country teams are ranked in the top 25.
Really good cross-country at the moment.
Winter, you've got indoor track and field. You got both the basketball teams that we talked about. You've got men's and women's wrestling.
Yeah.
Just, in case I had maybe some free time.
Not anymore, you don't.
Try to add something in there to take up whatever free time I might have. And then when you get towards spring, obviously track and field was huge last year. And baseball and softball, I think good things are expected from both of those teams as well.
Yeah, and certainly there's a lot to discuss. I think 27, 28 programs now down there. A couple
I quit counting.
There's no reason to count. They're going to change the number on you next week, I'm sure. But even the new programs seeing early success. Rugby taking down Michigan early in the year.
I forgot about rugby.
It's easy to
I
do.
told you I can't keep track of it.
Well, let us help you for an afternoon here. Also, archery. How about the success of the archery?
Archery might be the one right now that's as successful as anybody. They just got done winning an outdoor 3D national championship. I think they knocked off the University of Cumberland, who had won it 7 years in a row.
Crazy.
But Rio got the job done. You mentioned rugby. Rugby got a big win over Indiana Tech last week.
Wow.
Got banged up a little bit. They were supposed to be on the road and playing Kutztown State in Pennsylvania today, but didn't have enough players, so they canceled the game.
Wow.
You got to get ready for conference play a little later, and that win last week was big because it was a conference game over Indiana Tech. And like I said, there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
I don't know how you do it, and we'll let you get back to what's sure to be a busy afternoon here in the second half. Anything else you want to throw at us here? We appreciate your time, as always.
No, just I know we've had, and I have had a couple of parents that, believe it or not, have kind of gotten on me, but why are you so slow in getting something else out on the website? It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I don't care about the program. A lot of times it's receiving results late, and by the time you get the results from the previous weekend, you're already working on the week that is.
Right.
And a lot of times you can get behind easy, but be patient. We're trying.
There's 28 programs, they say, but there's only one Randy Payton for all of it.
28 programs is a lot for a Division I school. And for a school the size of Rio's, that's just incredible that you guys are able to make that work.
It's huge. And you mentioned there's only one Randy Payton. I'm sure there are people out there that will tell you that one is enough.
I'm sure so. But you're very beloved down by the student athletes. We appreciate you up here in the booth and everything you do for us throughout the week as well. And we appreciate you as always, sir.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It sure does, don't it? It gets a heck of a lot easier when there's others involved that we can blame things on.
Yep.
Randy Payton, thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you, sir.
All right.
We'll step aside here on the Red Storm Halftime Report. We will be back in 2 minutes from Alumni Stadium. Welcome back to the Red Storm halftime report presented by Hire. Eric Landrum here with you. And we are just moments away from kickoff here in the second half of this game. Union College leading the University of Rio Grande by a score of 14-0. Both colleges back out onto the field, and we are just moments away from kickoff in the second half. We will be right back with that kickoff here. We appreciate you listening to the Red Storm halftime report presented by Hire. Welcome back to Alumni Stadium in Jackson, where the University of Rio Grande trails the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs 14-0. Eric Landrum, Todd Worley with you as we are moments away from the kickoff of the second half of this football game. And there have been 3 scores in this contest. Let's go ahead and bring you up to speed on how we got here. Tajee Jackson ran for a 3-yard touchdown with 7:01 to go in the first quarter after the rushing attempt by Bryson Grabkowski. That made the game 8-0. And after the rush by Quay Powell of 1 yard, or from 1 yard out with 12:22 to go in the second quarter, that brought us to 14-0. Following the blocked PAT, here we are. And Todd, the Red Storm are going to have to turn some things around here in the second half if they want to put some points up on the board and even come away with a win in this game. What are some things we can do to do that?
Yeah, so this is a really big series coming up on offense for the Red Storm. And so football is a game of inches. How many times in the first half was Rio this close to either on defense making a play and getting off the field and keeping points off the board, or on offense moving the sticks where the ball is just off or the receiver wasn't able to make a great catch? Rio has to make those plays, so have to be dialed in. And I think that this series is big. I think you have to get the quick passing game going, get some easy completions, keep this defense off the field, move the ball, and would allow to end this drive in points, feel good about things going forward, and create some momentum.
The Bulldogs will kick off to the Red Storm. The Red Storm have their 2 return men back deep. And this one's going to go to Moore. And Moore off his hands around the 15-yard line. He picks it up. And initially looked like he was just going to trot out of bounds, but he puts his head down across the 30-yard line. And the Red Storm will start with the football at the 31.
He did. It looks like he could have let the ball go and was going to go out of bounds, but he still was able to get up to 31, so not a big field position loss. So 69 yards away with a lot, like, what the conversation at halftime had to be, what do we feel good about as an offensive unit? We need to move the ball this drive. This is such a big series for the Rio offense.
Huge series for the Red Storm. They come out with 2 receivers to each side. Moulter under center. Cartwright in the backfield, 7 yards deep. Moulter brings Kashili in motion. Ball snap Hand it off to Cartwright. Cartwright trying to find a seam is going to pick up a couple yards, and he's brought down in a hurry after that.
So talking about Ty Ellis, really good player. The tackle box down and then leaves Ty Ellis free, and he was able to make a tackle for a short gain. If I'm Rio, I'm never running the ball to his side, but he's actually on the field now. It looks like he's injured.
Yeah, that's Ellis down on the field. Again, 6'1", 225-pound defensive end who's played lights out all game long. He looks like he's in some pain.
You hate to see anyone get hurt. That would be a break for Rio to have their best player leave the game for any period of time.
They're taking a look at his left knee down there. We'll step aside, get our first break of the quarter in. We'll return here on 96.7 WKOV in just a moment. Welcome back to Alumni Stadium. Eric Landrum, Todd Worley with you, 2nd and 8 for the Red Storm. 14:40 and ticking to go. The Red Storm trail 14-0 to open up this second half. Man comes in motion, ball handed off to Cartwright, and Cartwright is destroyed in the backfield. Just not able to get the run game going is this Red Storm offense.
Yeah, that really good play, catching a jersey number here. KJ GNM, the linebacker, came blitz off the edge and just blew that play up in the backfield. So this is a really big series for Rio, and now you're in 3rd and 11. So obviously, passing situation. To me, I think you had to throw the ball 1st and 2nd down to get ahead of the sticks. That's not what happened. Moulter needs to come through with a big play here.
2 receivers to each side. Moulter calling out signals, takes a snap. Able to get a little bit of time back there, looking downfield, not able to get anything, and Moulter's knocked out of bounds, and he's hit hard on the near side here. Might have gotten a yard, but not a lot going. The Red Storm are going to have to punt it away.
So what I like there is they had Samuel Hawthorne blitzing off of the edge, did Union Commonwealth, and Rio had him double team to neutralize him. So Moulter actually had plenty of time there, just wasn't able to find anyone open. And then he, scrambled, instead of forcing it into coverage, he scrambles ahead for a yard. So would have loved to get points on that drive. Now you're putting your defense, who's been out there on the field, like you said, 22+ minutes in the first half, right back out there again to start the second half.
I'll tell you what, Strotter not giving Meldick much respect for a kid that's kicked it over his head 3 times today. Meldick gets a snap. It is a low rolling kick. Now over the 35-yard line of the Red Storm, finally down at the 34. And that is where the Bulldogs will begin with the football this possession.
You're right. Their punt returner was set up at 30 yards. On previous punts, he was at 40, so I'm not sure if that was just a miscalculation on his part, because Meldick does have the leg to kick it over his head. That wasn't one of Meldick's best punts. But so this is really key here. So Rio is having some trouble stopping these guys with Dakari Reese on the field. He's out for the rest of the game. Man, that's a really big loss. Rio's going to have to find a way to manufacture pressure in the passing game and stop the run. Really big challenge for the Rio defense this half.
It looks like in to fill in for Dakari Reese is Cade Woods. And that is that Jackson on the carry? He's just carrying defenders. Ball's still alive. It is a huddle of people. But that's going to be a pickup of about 11 yards when it's all said and done. I mean, just a huddle of people walking down the field together.
It was credit him for the balance and power, but at some point the ref has to blow the whistle. You're asking for people to get hurt. And so Rio moved Cade Woods, who's normally an inside guy, to the edge. So you're sacrificing even more in the passing game. So as much as Rio is having trouble getting pressure from anyone other than Dakari Reese, that's going to be an issue in this half.
Bulldogs come back to the line. They've got 3 receivers to the left. They've got it back in the backfield with Wick. Ball snapped, handed off. It is Taji Jackson again. And he crosses midfield. It's going to bring up 2nd and about 4 for the Bulldogs.
And so if I'm Union Commonwealth, I'm thinking, okay, this defense has been on the field all game long. One of their best players is out for the rest of the game. We've had some success running the ball. We've been able to throw it and without them getting much pressure on us. So just keep grinding the clock. You've got a 2-score lead. I think that's the strategy. They're content with letting the clock run down, keep moving the ball and wearing these guys out.
Wick comes to the line. He's got 2 receivers to his left, and H to the left, and a split receiver to his right. Back in the backfield with him to the left. Ball snap. He hands it off. It's Jackson. Jackson looking for running room. Now spins. A man holding on to the leg that is planted in the ground and finally pulls down Jackson. He's going to be close to a first down.
So I think what's happening on these running plays, so the Rio D line really has played well at the point of attack. They're not getting driven off the ball, but I think linebackers are struggling to work through traffic, and so they're running into blocks. And that's why these situations where it should be a tackle for a 1-yard gain, a no gain, maybe a loss, they're getting 5-6 yards a pop on those. And that's something where Rio needs to improve.
Bulldogs come to the line. They've got 2 receivers to the right. Back in the backfield. He hands it. That's Jackson. Jackson looking for running room. Cuts it back up inside. Crosses the 40-yard line of the Red Storm. And he'll be dragged down at the 39. It'll be second and about 4.
So Pierre Hicks, nice job setting the edge there, turning that back inside. But again, someone has to be coming from the middle to work downhill and make a play there. And Rio's just not getting that done. And so every time you've got to force these guys into long yard situations, and Rio's not able to do that yet this half.
Red Storm really need to come away with a break defensively here. They got the break on the field goal to end the half that doinked off the left upright in the south end zone. Need a stop here. 2 tights, 2 split receivers to each side here. Jackson in the backfield. He hands off to Jackson to the right. Jackson makes the whole defensive line of the Red Storm miss, but eventually he's brought down in the backfield anyway. Loss of about 3 yards on the play. Great defensive play by the Red Storm.
It was. Rio sent at least 2, if not 3 blitzers, including Nate Lopez, who got home, was screaming downhill, flew through the hole, and he was the one that tripped up the running back at first to slow him down. Actually, for a play where the running back lost yardage, that was actually an outstanding run by him.
Yeah, it was.
Could have been a 5 or 6 yard loss. He only lost about 2. So here's the situation. 3rd and 8, you're down by 2 scores. You want to win this game, make a play right here.
3rd and 8 here. The Bulldogs come to the line with 3 receivers to the right. Man-to-man receiver on the near side receiver. Ball snapped. Wick looks downfield, has a man on the flag route. Nate Lopez in on the coverage, but ball thrown over the head of the intended receiver. Now to bring up 4th and 8.
Good break by Lopez. The receiver might have had a step. A perfect pass is probably completion, but credit Rio, you force him to make a perfect pass. That's a tough ball to complete. A corner route deep down the right sideline. And then Rio did bring 2 blitzers. Union Commonwealth picked him up. There was some pressure, but credit the defense for a big stop there. So 4th and 8, really big play here.
Huge play here. Could really turn the tide of the game, give the Red Storm some of its best field position of the day. 3 receivers to the right for the Bulldogs. Look for something close to the sticks here from these receivers. Thrown over the middle of the field. He has a man. It is off the hands of his intended receiver, and that pass falls incomplete. And Rio Grande will start with the football at their own 38-yard line after the turnover on downs.
So big stop for Rio. What a ball by Cooper Wick. He put the ball, the receiver, there were 3 defenders around the receiver, put it over one, in front of another, and around in another. Put the ball perfectly in his receiver's hand. Would have been a massive completion, possibly a backbreaker in this game. But they're not able to complete it. Big stop for Rio's defense. Now the offense takes over the minus 43. Really big series here. Need to get some points out of this drive.
The defense holds strong. Rio Grande going to start this offensive series a little bit spread out. 2 receivers to each side. Cartwright in the backfield. Ball snap. Looking. Now screen set up to Cartwright. Has him. Cartwright crosses midfield. He's blown dead. And he's going to be out of bounds at the 49-yard line of the Red Storm. And that had big play potential all over it if he doesn't step out of bounds.
It did. Rio set up the screen well, but there was actually a block in the back that should have been called on Rio, and it wasn't. So Rio kind of dodged. If that gets called, you're looking at 1st and 20. But so still a good drive start. You like 5-yard gain on first side, you'll take that anytime.
Rio Grande coming to the line here on 2nd and 5. They've got 3 receivers to the left. Kashili in the tight slot. Now motioning in the other slot. Ball snap, hands off to Cartwright. Cartwright is met immediately in the backfield. Andre Johnson, the senior linebacker, making a play.
Really impressive instincts, working downhill immediately, wasn't fooled, and stuffs it for a loss. So, I get you have to run the ball here and there, but like, when do you do it? When you struggle to run the ball, no matter the situation, when do you do it? This is such a tough job to be the play caller for this offense because you're having trouble running the ball in any situation.
I think we had better success running the ball against Pikeville a week ago than we're having today, but make no mistake about it, we're in the game. 3rd and 7 here. Moulter looks to his left. A lot of chaos over there on the far side in that tight bunch. Finds an incomplete pass intended for Michael Moore. Now the punt team trots back out onto the field.
So Michael Moore wasn't wide open, but he did have a step on the out, and it would have gotten the first down, and a perfect pass, you get a completion there, you probably move the chains. And so to me, one of the differences between last week and this week with Peyton Moulter is just the accuracies. A lot of these passes are just a little bit off when a better pass makes a completion, and so that's where he can do it, though. He's shown he can do it.
About 30 yards off the ball is the return man. High spiraling kick, and Strauger fields it at the 19-yard line. Whoa. There we go. 20-yard line there.
So, Rio's defense got the big stop, and the offense was set up with really good field position and couldn't do anything with it. That's so disappointing, especially because, there's a play to be made on third down. If Moulter is able to deliver an accurate ball, Rio still has the ball right now. And then who knows what the drive can turn into. It hasn't happened, though. So you get the feeling that Rio may have to score on defense or on special teams in this game to get back in and win this game. So someone needs to step up and make a play. Need to keep, especially to Takari Reese out, have to be blitzing every single passing situation.
Bulldogs offense back on the field. They've got a tight end to the right, 2 receiver split to the left. Jackson in the backfield. They hand it to Jackson. They run it to that tight end right side. Nothing going there. He's stopped maybe about a yard for the Bulldogs.
And so, has Union Commonwealth had some success on the ground? Yeah, but no big plays. And the Rio defense has actually played pretty well against the run. And, defense as a whole, giving up 14 points midway through the third quarter, you'll take that. Great opportunity here, 2nd and 9. Need to make a play here, put them in 3rd and long.
Union, similar formation, 2 receivers to the right. That is Grabowski with the football. He tries to take the quarterback sweep around the edge. He's brought down after a pickup of about 5 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 4.
The lunatic. How about the range and explosiveness and aggressiveness downhill and then working through traffic to make a really nice play from the safety spot there. Great play by Nate Lopez.
Another big 3rd down here for the Red Storm. They held on the last big 3rd down and 4th down. Can they come up with another stop deep in Bulldogs territory?
Such a big play here. Have to heat this guy up, get some pressure on him. Need to be blitzing off the edge here. 2
receivers to each side here for the Bulldogs. They take the snap. They pitch it out. It's Jackson. He's got running room to the right side. And if he's able to get away from that tackle by Braylon Robertson, he's going to take it to the house. Robertson just saved a touchdown.
He would. That's a relatively simple read, and linebackers have to be flying downhill on that, and it's disappointing that didn't happen. The defensive line strung it out enough, and then linebackers weren't there to make a play on that play. So, 3rd and 5, you have a chance to get off the field. They move the chains, and now the clock's still running. Your defense is still out there. That's credit to Union Commonwealth there.
Commonwealth's not making any doubts about what they're trying to do offensively at the moment. 2 receivers to each side here. Ball snapped. It's handed off to Jackson. Jackson making a couple of men miss, and that's Cade Woods holding on there. Filling in for Dakari Reese, the big fella.
Cade Woods and Pierre Hicks, good play by both of those guys to get the TFL to start this set of downs off the right way. So now it's 2nd and 13. Man, this is a good opportunity. There's plenty of time left in this game. Rio just needs a big play. Somewhere, somehow, someone has to do it. This would be a perfect time.
Huge opportunity for the Red Storm if someone can come away with an interception, a fumble, huge sack, something here. 2 receivers to the right for the Bulldogs. Tight end to the right, split receiver to the left. Back in the backfield to the right of Grabowski. He takes the snap. And Lopez again screaming down. Sorry, that's Robertson. Screaming downhill, making the play.
It was also Nate Lopez. I think he was flying downhill. And then, so you love the aggressiveness these guys are playing with. And now defense, you set them up in 3rd and 9. You'll take that any day of the week. And so the D-line has to generate some pressure. But in addition to the front three, I think Rio has to blitz at least 2 more guys. Need to get home, force the ball out of this guy's hands quicker than he wants to.
Huge 3rd and 9 opportunity here. Rio Grande trailing 14-0, 4:32 to go in the 3rd quarter. Bulldogs come out 3 receivers to the left. Snap. Grabowski looks to his left, has a man on the near sideline, connects with his receiver, and that's going to be good for a Bulldogs first down across Red Storm, or into Red Storm territory across midfield.
So without Dakari Reese, Rio's not able to generate any pressure with the front three. I don't understand not blitzing in that situation. You have 3rd and 9, and the QB had all day back there. Credit to the QB for getting out of the pocket, finding the open man. But he had all day. And when you give at any level, you give a college QB that much time, they're probably going to make a play on you.
Empty backfield here for Grabowski. He gets a snap, now plunges ahead, and he is blown up. What a play by that Red Storm defensive front. Isaiah McCory in there on the stop.
And Dale Lobatari, too, he blitzed and he hit on that. That was a really good play call there defensively, and he executed. Nice TFL. So, man, Rio has gotten these guys behind the sticks the last few sets of downs, but you have to come up and make a play on 3rd and long. 2nd and 11 here.
Big opportunity to come away with the stop for the Red Storm here. 2 receivers to each side for the Bulldogs. Grabowski in the backfield. He takes a snap, takes the handoff. He's going to plunge ahead, trying to find running room around the right side. Not able to do so. Picks up about 5, and it'll be 3rd and 5 from about the 39-yard line.
We're getting to the late stages of the 3rd quarter. Not much time left. There is time to win the game, but not a lot of time left. And 3rd and 5 here, and Rio has continued to let these guys off the hook on 3rd and long. And so, big opportunity here to get a stop and then hopefully turn the momentum the other way, give the offense another shot, but with a 2-score deficit.
Bulldogs come to the line, no hurry. Play clock under 10 seconds, 2 receivers to each side. Now it looks like we're going to have a timeout for the Red Storm. We do. Let's step aside. You're listening to Red Storm Football 96.7 WKOV. Welcome back to Alumni Stadium. Eric Landrum, Todd Worley with you. Huge 3rd and 5 here for the Red Storm defense. The Bulldogs of Union Commonwealth University lead this one 14-0, 2:33 to go in the 3rd. Bulldogs show 4 receivers, ball snap. Grabowski takes the handoff, crosses the 35-yard line, takes a big hit, but it's going to be good for a first down. Pickup of about 7 on the QB run. I think it's easy to see what he's trying to do when he takes the snap.
Yeah, that's the package they have with him on the field. He's more of a threat running the ball, and looks like
that's Pierre Hicks
on the field.
Yes, it is. Hicks is down. They are tending to what looks like left leg of the linebacker.
In going back to Rio deciding to call a timeout there. It's a really key 3rd and 5 play. You hate to burn a timeout in the second half in the third quarter under virtually any circumstances. But, I mean, you have a defense that's worn down. I think it made sense in that situation to call the timeout. You give your defense some rest. B, you can talk it over, make sure you've got the right personnel on the field. And C, you get the right play call. And so, I mean, credit Union Commonwealth, they executed on that play. And so that was another golden opportunity for Rio to make, like, if you want to win a game like this, there have been opportunities, plays to be made, and Rio just hasn't made them. It's been a consistent thing on offense and defense. And so, still, though, the ball is at the 32-yard line. Mm-hmm. They're not in field goal range yet. Still an opportunity to keep points off the board, maintain the 2-score deficit, and give your offense a chance to get you back in the game.
Pierre Hicks up on his feet, able to get to the sideline under his own pressure, gets a nice little applause from the faithful here at Alumni Stadium. Still a good crowd hanging out here at Alumni Stadium today.
I know no one here is going to be happy with a moral victory, but we're 2 minutes left in the third quarter. This is still a 2-score game. By far the most competitive game Rio's played this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 2 receivers to each side for Grabowski here as he comes back out to call the signals for the Bulldogs offense. And the senior hands off to Jackson. And Jackson met immediately by Olabatai.
Mount has a ball.
And they've been long with the whistle most of the day.
It's a really good play by Dale Olabatai. Worked downhill and blew up the play. And then you've got a big back, so the back was able to drag him another 2 yards. But still a nice play by the linebacker there. And the running back's on the field now injured.
Yeah, that's Tajee Jackson down on the field, and it looks like a cramp situation here. Listen, anytime you see a lineman grab a hold of the leg, it's usually a cramp, right? You don't see that with most injuries.
So another situation, 2nd and 8. So, this would probably, I would think this would be 4-down territory for Union Commonwealth, because I don't think they can make a field goal from out here, but they probably go for it. So we're going to have to make 3 straight plays here, keep them behind the sticks, and hopefully get off the field. And then this next series offensively, there has to be so much urgency. I don't think you don't have to throw it every play because of the clock and score situation, but I think you do have to pick up the pace between the snaps, because between the plays, how many opportunities is Rio's offense going to have for the rest of the game?
Yeah.
There may not be that many, so this next drive has to result in points.
Jackson able to get up on his own power and jog to the sidelines there. Again, hot day for an October Saturday. Kicked off around 79 degrees here and felt every degree of it at Alumni Stadium.
And especially because, you have to think of what these players have been recently acclimated to in practice, and it's been a lot cooler recently.
Yeah.
So then when you have a spike in temperature like that can make a difference.
Bulldogs come back out onto the field here, 2 receivers to each side for Grabowski, who stands in the backfield with Quay Powell. Red Storm showing pressure here. Toss out to Powell. Powell trying to find some running room. Andy Meldick was trying to strip that ball the entire way, unable to do so. And Powell inches ahead. It's going to be 3rd and about 1.
You like the thought process. It's a shame, though, but then that led to him being able to drag the pile another 3-4 yards. And so 3rd and 4 or 5 turns into 3rd and 1. So this is almost definitely 4-down territory in this situation. So Rio's defense has to make a stand twice here.
1:15 to go in the third quarter here. Union leading 14-0, 3rd and 1. They've got the ball at the Red Storm 23-yard line. 2 receivers each way. Grabowski takes a snap, follows his running back still on his feet, now across the 10-yard line, finally brought down around the 9.
Man, credit to Union Commonwealth. Every time Rio's defense has a big third down opportunity, Union Commonwealth makes a play. It's been frustrating, and then with each play that gets made, the clock keeps running. The defense is still on the field. The offense is off the field, out of the rhythm. I mean, this is like great game plan by Union Commonwealth to win the game, and they're on track to do that right now.
They have absolutely owned the time of possession statistic in this contest as well. Could be the last play of the quarter, barring a score. Clock ticking under 25 seconds in the third, play clock under 5. Ball snapped, he turns, hands it off to Jackson. Jackson around the left side trying to make a man miss, does. Now cutting back inside And Jackson plunging into the left side of the end zone, down around the pylon. It is good for a Bulldogs touchdown.
And number 30 for Rio, we don't have it on the roster. The safety came downhill and would have made the play for no gain, but credit to Taji Jackson, broke the tackle. Rio's defense played that perfectly. Sometimes football is our guy against your guy, and their guy won that time. That should have been a no gain, and then he was able to break tackles and move the pile into the end zone. Great run by the running back.
Jackson has played a pretty good football game. The running back be it for the Bulldogs. You heard Coach Lursing in pregame. We knew what that guy was going to be capable of when he was toting the rock. PAT attempt is up. And it is good into the tree in the north end zone at Alumni Stadium. 10.5 to go in the third quarter, 21-0. Union leads the Rio Grande Red Storm. We'll keep it with you here until we head into the fourth quarter here. And we've kind of sound like a broken record at this point, probably, Todd, but we gotta figure out a way to get some points on the board on this drive, right? I mean, it's kind of out of hand at this point. Otherwise,
yeah. So before I would have been okay with maybe even 3 points on the ensuing drive if it was still 14-0, but now you need 7. And I think back to the end of the KCU game where obviously the score is out of the hand, but Rio went into a 2-minute drive. Aiden Luloff got going. I think both time and score-wise, you need to do that because you need to pick up the tempo. But then also maybe that's what gets this offense into rhythm because they just so many near misses throughout the course of this game and not that many opportunities all at the same time because the defense has been on the field so much. So this is if Rio wants any chance to get back in this game, needs 7 points in this drive.
On to kick it away for the fourth time in this contest today is Gager, the freshman kicker for the Bulldogs. Kick is up. It's a good kick. Across the 10-yard line. Moore fields it around the 6. Now out to the far side on the left. He's dragged down across the 15-yard line. And that is where the Red Storm will begin with the football.
So they kicked it to Rio's, between the hash of numbers on Rio's right side of the field. Rio had the return set up to the left. And so the returner is trying, I get his assignment is to follow the return that's set up. But you're going all the way across the field, running east and west, not gaining any ground while all 11 guys are pursuing you. In that situation, I think you just get north and south, cut your losses, and get maybe a 10-yard return. Instead, you probably lost yards on that.
What's likely to be the last play of the third quarter here as Moulter trots on to the field for the Red Storm here. They line up. They've got 3 backs in the backfield. They toss it. It's Jaffa Gunlier. Semi Jaffa Gunlier cross or down out around the 20-yard line. And for a 4-yard run, he earned every yard of it. And that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. The University of Rio Grande trail the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs 21-0. Keep it right here. We'll be back for the fourth quarter of action on 96.7 WKOV. Welcome back to Alumni Stadium. Eric Landrum, Todd Worley with you as University of Rio Grande trail the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs 21-0 to open the fourth quarter. The Red Storm with the ball at their own 20-yard line. They'll have it 2nd and 6 to open up this fourth quarter, Todd.
So you got second and 6, which is where you want to be from a down and distance standpoint. So the playbook should be wide open here. Whatever passing concept you feel the best about, that has to be the play call here. You need to get a completion, need to move the sticks and get things going. Then between snaps, pick up the tempo.
Moulter signaling things out here, waiting for the ready for play signal from the head official. And it looks like we're seeing some new bodies into the game for for the Bulldogs on the defensive side of things. Bolter got 2 receivers to his left, Kashili in the backfield, and Jaffa Gunley. Molter looks to his right after the play fake, has a man out there. Would have been good for a first down, but Josiah Ayers not able to hang on to that one. Pass falls incomplete.
So Ryan ran a bootleg, which I'm not a fan of in this situation. You're having trouble running the ball. You're not going to fool anybody. Didn't fool Union Commonwealth. Molter gets destroyed as he throws it. Credit to him. Really good ball under pressure like that. And then you're trying to come back and win a game. Josiah Ayers, you absolutely have to make that catch. That moves the sticks, and that gets you, creates some momentum on this drive. Like, was it a perfect pass? No, but very catchable. You need to make that play.
Molter going to be in the shotgun on this play. Jaffa Gunlier in the backfield with him, now bringing Michael Moore across the formation in motion. Ball snapped, he drops back, he's looking, has a man. It is Ayers who makes up for the previous drop, and he's able to take the drag route on the reception across the 30-yard line, good for a Red Storm first down.
Like you said, you atone for his mistakes. So Molter, you like the processing, finds open man, delivers an accurate ball. Ayers hangs on to it, moves the sticks to the Rio offense. Need to pick up the tempo now.
Getting things moving is the Red Storm offense across the 30-yard line now. 3 receivers to the near side here to the left of the Red Storm offense. Molter gets the snap, pressured immediately. Ball is thrown in direction of Michael Moore, incomplete. Pass broken up quickly. That was DJ Washington, the senior defensive back.
It looked like DJ Washington almost had the pick six. If he intentionally tried to break it up, if he tried to catch it, I think he takes it back to the house. But so one thing to watch here. So we talked about how good Ty Ellis is a defensive end, and he hasn't come back in since he was injured. So that has made a difference. It's helped Rio's pass pro improve because he's not been on the field. So Rio needs to capitalize on his absence.
Molter under center here. He's got Kashili in the backfield with Jaffa Gunley. Now brings another man in motion. Jaffa Gunley takes it up the middle, hits the hole hard, had a seam for a quick moment, but is brought down just shy of the 35-yard line. That'll bring up third down for the Red Storm.
So again, it's so challenging to call plays in this situation when you can't run it consistently. Rio dialed up a draw there and was able to get, it's kind of the state of where they are, where a 3 or 4 yard gain is notable in the running game, and it is though. And so, but now, so it's to me has to be 4 down territory unless it's 4th and really long. So 3rd and 7, you should have 2 downs to convert this here.
Molter calling things out for the Red Storm offense. 3 receivers to the left, a back to his right. He gets the snap, looks to his left, has it, now throws it, intercepted on the play. And it looked like he was throwing it in the direction of Beamer Walker, but coming away with it is the man that had an opportunity a moment ago, DJ Washington. He picks it off for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they blitzed the linebacker off the edge and got immediate pressure on the corner on Molter. He got hit right as he threw it. I think that caused some force to be taken off the ball because of that, and then it floats up in the air. Defense picks it off. Rio needed to do something on that series, and they weren't able to get it done.
13:21 to go in the contest. Union leads 21-0 with the football at the Red Storm 36-yard line. Grabowski back on to call out the signals for the Bulldogs. Senior quarterback, much more run heavy himself than his predecessor on the day, Cooper Wick, has been. He gets a snap, hands it off. It's Quay Powell. He's met immediately. Isaiah McCory blowing up that play in the backfield. Going to be a 2-yard tackle for loss.
Nice play there. Exactly by McCory, just like you said. And if I am Union Commonwealth, I may not call another passing play for the rest of the game, at least until later in the game when it's even more out of the hand. But I mean, with the clock moving and Rio's inability to move it on offense, to me, if you're the offensive play call, you just keep the clock moving, keep their defense on the field.
Something to keep an eye on the offensive side of things. Could be something, could be nothing. But Keaton Eminer, the backup quarterback for the Red Storm, warming up down on the sidelines here, close to us. Right now, though, the Red Storm need to come away with a stop. Try to stay in this football game. Ball snap, handed off. That is number 32 on the carry. That is Michael Albin, the freshman running back out of White House, Tennessee.
And in Dakari Reese's absence, Brody Coleman is getting a longer look at defensive end. He made a nice play there for tackle for a minimal gain. So 3rd and long, if you're Riley, you're hoping they drop back to pass, and you're hoping they put the ball up, and you can make a pick and maybe turn the game on that. This have to dial up some pressure here, have to make a play defensively.
3rd and long for the Bulldogs. They come out. They've got 2 backs in the backfield, a tight end to the left. 2 receivers, 1 receiver to each side. Grabowski takes a snap. He looks for running room, picks up about 2 yards. That'll bring up 4th and about 7 yard line, or 7 yards for the Bulldogs, excuse me. And an interesting decision.
So Brody Coleman strung together 2 really good plays there. They ran it outside, either stretch outside zone to his side. He beat the reach box, strung it out, and bought the rest of the defense time to come and make a play. So really big sequence here. 4th and 7 now.
Grabowski, the punter, as well at times throughout the day. Let's see how he chooses to handle this 4th down play. He does take a step back. Looks as though he may kick it. He takes a snap, kicks it. It's a high, wobbly kick. Andy Meldick pleading, get out of the way. The Red Storm are able to. And it looks like it's going to be about a 13-yard punt when it's all said and done.
You know, I sometimes I think coaches outthink them.
I think so too.
I mean, if you're gonna put the punter out there and try to put him inside the 10, and then there is a threat when you have the QB out there. But then you can have, they did get a bounce, but I mean, there wasn't much of a difference between going for it and getting stopped versus getting the 13-yard punt. But so Keaton Emner is out there now.
He is.
The QB, just like you were saying. Good eye there, partner. So. This is his opportunity. If he can drive Rio down and score, maybe the job's his rest of the season. So if he wants a job, now's your chance.
Eminer on to call out the signals for the Red Storm, bringing Kashili in motion, now sweep, and there's a flag flying in late.
They called it on Rio, but the linebacker looked like he was offsides also, Samuel Hawthorne.
Nickelback of the Red Storm up 5. It'll make it 1st and 15 for the freshman quarterback out of St. Petersburg, Florida, coming in to manage the game.
Not necessarily the situation you want to enter the game down. 11 minutes left in the game, 4th quarter. You haven't played a snap yet, and you're down by 3 scores. But he wants an opportunity to play, I'm sure, and this is it right now.
3 receivers to the left for Eminer, now bringing Kashili in motion. 5 on the play clock. Kashili back. And he hands off to Jaffa Gunley. He makes a couple miss in the backfield. A flag down from the head official. And we'll see what the flag is.
Should be offsides, I believe. No, they're saying it's on offense. Okay.
Illegal shift. Maybe didn't get set. Leaning forward. I don't know. Looks like called against Kashili.
So you're down 21-0, 11 minutes to go in the game. You call it, and I know that play doesn't count because of the penalty, but Rio runs the ball. Time is of, if you want to win this game or have any chance to win this game, you need to drive down and score quickly here.
Sure.
And it's not like you're having success running the ball anyway. So it's one thing if you were, but Rio's not.
Eminer in the backfield, standing with Jaffa Gunley. Ball snapped. Eminer gets a snap, rolls to his left, looking. Not a lot going on. Over the head of Beamer Walker around the 26-yard line. Pass falls incomplete. Bring up 2nd and 20.
That would have had to have been a perfect pass, and even that may not have done the job. It was covered so well. He had to put it high, and it was just a little bit too high. But so yeah, this is such a tough situation. You're a backup QB. He hasn't played since the beginning of the KCU game, correct? And then and now he's in this situation, long yard situation, backed up, down by 3 scores. But this is where he is. He needs to make some plays now.
He comes out in the shotgun. He's got 2 receivers to each side on this play. He gets a snap, looks to his left, trying to connect with Cartwright. Just not able to set the screen up. That'll bring up 3rd down and 20.
Rio actually had that set up so well, had 2 offensive linemen and a receiver there as a convoy to lead the way. If Rio was able to complete that, he might still be running. Now there was a defensive lineman that would have been right behind him, but if Cartwright catches it and breaks that tackle, there's plenty of green grass ahead of him. Just But you think about that, how many reps have they gotten Keaton Eminer and Jalen Cartwright running that screen pass when Eminer hasn't been the first or second guy in the last 2 weeks?
It's a great point there. 3rd and long for the Red Storm. 4 receivers in the set. Jaffa Gunley stands in the backfield. Ball snapped. Eminer looks to his left, now stepping up. He's going to be brought down in the backfield. He's going to be sacked on the play. Coming up with the sack for Union Commonwealth, it's number 93, Keenan Yoles.
Immediate pressure there. Eminer had no chance. That's a frustrating series when, if there was any chance of getting back in the game, you needed to do something on that series, and Rio couldn't even get a first down there. And so, man, it's hard to call plays when you can't run the ball and you can't protect the passer, right?
Yeah,
you have to thread the needle every single time just to have a chance. It's so hard.
Meldick gets a snap, now kicks it away. It's a good spiraling kick, going to be fielded around the 49-yard line by Strager. And Strager takes it across the 40, now across the 30. He'll be knocked out just shy of the 25-yard line, and that's where Union Commonwealth will begin with the football with 9:44 to go in the 4th quarter inside the Rio Grande 30-yard line.
Interestingly, he's their leading receiver coming into this game, Strother I'm speaking of, and he hasn't been much of an impact offensively. He hasn't gotten that many reps offensively today, but big punt return by him. And so now, defensively, you're thinking you have to create a turnover. Getting a stop, obviously you want to get a stop, but that's not good enough at this point. You need to get the ball back immediately. May need to score on defense here.
Got to try to figure out something you can do to get things moving. If you're the Red Storm defense here, try to make a play. Grabowski comes back onto the field to lead the offense for the Bulldogs. He gets a snap. He hands off. It's Quay Powell. Powell picks up a couple on the play, just shy of the 25-yard line for the Red Storm.
There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Braylon Robertson, linebacker, really good instincts there. Works downhill, makes a play. That's the type of play Rio needs in the running game.
9:24 to go and ticking in this contest from Alumni Stadium.
Have to be expecting a run just about every play at this point, especially with the new QB in the game, who's more of a run-heavy offensive guy anyway.
The Bulldogs come out. They've got 2 receivers to the left, an H to the right, and a split receiver to the right. Back in the backfield is Quay Powell. He hands off to Powell. Powell crosses the 25-yard line, makes a defender pay for it, but then he pays for it himself. He's brought down, pickup of about 2.
There's a phrase I heard years ago. I haven't heard it since then, but I loved it. When you talk about a player and say he throws his body around like he's got another one in the closet.
That's a good one. I like that one.
That's Nate Lopez. Nate Lopez is listed at 5'9", 180, and he's just looking at me maybe a lot less than 180, and so. Yeah. But he plays like he's 205.
He does.
Just flying downhill, super physical, super aggressive. Hair's on fire. Love the way he plays the game.
Whole lot of hair to be on fire for Lopez as well. The lunatic back there. Ball snapped, tossed to the right side. It's Quay Powell. He cuts back, has an opening in the middle of the field. He's brought down by the official as the umpire takes him down on the play. Otherwise, I think Quay Powell has a touchdown.
Probably did. There's actually a heck of a cut by him because Rio played it well to the front side, and he's really good vision, stuck his foot in the ground and cut back against the grain and found the opening. And then, Rio got a break there by the ref.
I don't know if officials watch film, but if so, +2 for the official. He saved a score on the play, man.
Did he owe Rio for the call on the fumble early in the game where Rio got the bad whistle on that play?
You know what? Everyone makes up for it with enough time, I like to say. 7:35 to go. Ball inside the 10 for the Bulldogs. Anybody and everybody trying to keep him out of the end zone at this point. 2 backs in the backfield for the Bulldogs. Grabowski calling things out. He gets a snap, hands off. It's the far back on the carry. And that is number 4 on the carry. That is DeMarcus Hopkins.
Another nice play by Nate Lopez. This Rio run defense has been okay for the most part, and then especially when you get into a situation where Rio knows you're running the ball, and you've got a guy as aggressive as Nate Lopez just flying downhill. That's right up his alley. So obviously Union Commonwealth has a score where they want it, so no concern there on their part. But this is playing into Rio's hands defensively right now.
Commonwealth sets. They got 2 backs in the backfield and a tight end to the right. They hand it to the back, and he's brought down immediately. It looks like big Kyron Carter in there for the Red Storm to shut things down.
Yeah, so, the rush defense, you like the way they're making a stand right now. It'll be interesting, the play call here. It's going to be 3rd and goal from the 12 to 13-yard line. And so does Union Commonwealth throw the ball? And if they get stopped, do they kick a field goal? It's still a 3-score deficit, and a field goal would keep it at 3 scores at 24-0. Interesting to see how they handle this.
It was 98 Ahmed Samura on the stop, not 99 Carter on the last one. Let's see if the Red Storm defense can come through here. Big 3rd down and goal. Ball to 12-yard line. 2 receivers to each side. For Grabowski, he fakes. Now looks to his left. Has a man wide open in the end zone. And it looks like busted coverage on that play. And the Red Storm give up a touchdown through the air.
It was. Rio had been so geared up to stop the run. They ran a bootleg, and it popped wide open. And then Rio was there to pressure the QB, but nobody covered the receiver leaking out. One of the easier passes he's going to complete.
Doesn't get much easier than that one. 27-0. The Bulldogs lead the Red Storm. 5:54 to go in this contest.
Play clock to 25.
Bulldogs on to kick it away. Snaps good, hold down and good. A knuckleball of a PAT is up and good. 5:54 remaining. Union leads 28-0. We'll be back with more from Alumni Stadium in Jackson. Welcome back to Alumni Stadium in Jackson. Eric Landrum, Todd Worley with you, where the University of Rio Grande trails the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs 28-0, 5:54 to go in this contest. Beautiful evening in Jackson. The University of Rio Grande set to receive this kickoff. Kick is up. It is a high kick, fielded at the 14-yard line by Michael Moore, trying to find some running room on the far side of the field. Not a lot going for him. Rio Grande will begin with the football around their 33-yard line. That's where the drive will start.
This kind of feels like the end of the KCU game, where the game was out of the hand, but there's still an opportunity for the offense to do something that you feel good about moving into the future weeks. And so what's Rio? I mean, this is more of a macro level question, but what's Rio going to do at QB next week? You've had Aiden Ludoff has been a starter, Eminer has been a starter, and then obviously Moulter has started the last 2 games, and now he's been replaced. So it seems like they're all auditioning for the job at this point, and so it's Eminer's turn now. We'll see what he can do.
Eminer's on the field, as you mentioned, Todd, to start this series. 5:45 to go in the contest. He's got 2 receivers to each side. A back in the backfield to his right. Ball snapped. Takes a snap, now steps up in the pocket, slides forward, picks up about 5 yards, and doesn't pay for it. You like to see that.
Yeah, you like the pocket presence. There was immediate pressure. He felt it, and he pump faked and kind of got the defensive lineman off of his feet and was able to scramble ahead for a positive gain on first down.
2nd and 5, now down under 5.5 to go in this game. Eminer calls things out for the Red Storm. They come to the line, 3 receivers to the left, 1 split to the right. Jaffa Gunlier in the backfield. Ball snapped. Eminer gets a snap, looks to his left, looks to his right. He's going to be sacked. And he is Like you said earlier, immediate pressure, and Emmer just not able to get a lot going back there.
And this is disappointing, too, for the Rio offensive line because, we talked about how Ty Ellis isn't in the game. They've got mostly their second team off the defensive line in there. Union Commonwealth does it, and Rio's got the starters still in up front and giving up pressure like that.
3rd and 8 for the Red Storm. They come to the line with 3 receivers to the left. Ball snapped. Emmer looks to his left, looking for Michael Moore. Just blanketed by the DB. Pass falls incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down, 4:22 to go.
Good coverage there. I thought Michael Moore, so in that situation when you're trying to to protect your hands and your arms, and so if you can turn your body, so force the DB to come through your back, which is then interference to make a play, and then you shield your hands from the DB, then he has more of a chance to catch a ball there. That's something you learn as you develop and as you get more experience.
Meldick on to kick it away for the Red Storm. Throw this game at you. Matthew Toledo, the long snapper for the Red Storm, doing really good work. Nice snap there. Gets it back in a hurry. Meldick's punt is fielded at the 26-yard line by Strotter. Strotter makes a few Red Storm defenders miss. Picks up about 5 on the return.
You said it with the long snapping. It's since he returned, there's a major difference between the velocity on his snaps versus what was happening before. And so prior to his return, it was you're kind of holding your breath every time Rio punted because when's it going to get blocked? Because the operation was taking way too long. That has been a bright spot since he returned.
On to the field come the Bulldogs. 4:10 to go in this game. They lead 28-0 over your Red Storm.
Rio's starting to sub a lot of guys out now.
Union Commonwealth, high snap over the head of the newly inserted quarterback. That's Antoine Young, the redshirt sophomore, transfer out of the University of Cumberland. Ball snapped over his head. It'll make for a 2nd and long.
I like the decision to take some guys out. Nate Lopez is out. Some of the starters are still out there. Andy Meldick's still out there. Marlon Reed's still out there. But you want to preserve your guys, and obviously this game's out of the hand. You want to keep those guys healthy, your starters healthy, and you want to get some new guys some reps.
Under 4 minutes to go, 2nd and 19. Young gets a snap, now hands off. Handoff brought down immediately in the backfield by the Red Storm. Going to be another loss on the play.
And keep in mind just the dynamic of normally at the college level, the guys who are backups, if they're younger, they're always thinking, okay, is the guy ahead of me graduating this year? And so then that spot opens up for me to potentially win it next year. This is a totally different situation because all these guys are still eligible next year. And so if you're a backup on the roster now, it's tough for the Rio's coaching staff. You have to keep those backups invested, keep them believing they're going to get a chance at some point.
3rd and long for the Bulldogs here. Handed off, and another immediate play in the backfield from the Red Storm. Another nice stop there on stop number 50 for the Red Storm.
Zach Goebel, linebackers, made 2 nice plays in a row there, and he had a larger role earlier in the season, and then has kind of hasn't had quite as much of a role in recent weeks. But it's nice to see him making the most of his opportunity late in this game.
Bring up 4th and long for the Bulldogs. They'll send the punt team onto the field. Back deep for the Red Storm is Josiah Ayers. He stands at about the Red Storm 45-yard line, giving a lot of credit to Grabowski, the punter. And Grabowski's punt is a short, low punt, fielded around the 48-yard line. Ayers with room around the left side. He's got room inside Bulldogs territory. He's going to be brought down around the 41-yard line. And that's where the Red Storm will begin with the football. 2:04 to go in the contest.
I mean, you'd love to get some points on the board before this one ends. You're taking over the +4. You want 2:04 left. You've got 2 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout. So time is not a factor now. Obviously, they're not going to win the game. But in terms of just getting points on the board before the gun, Rio's got plenty of time. You'd love to have some sort of momentum heading into next week.
Emminger back onto the field for this Red Storm offense. He'll start the drive with 2 receivers to each side. Jaden Cartwright stands in the backfield to the left. Ball snapped. It's thrown. Josiah Ayers on the catch. It'll be a pickup of about 3 on the quick out. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute timeout.
And you'll take that. You have, just nice to see Keaton Eminer, the back foot hits the ground. He processes quickly, finds an open man on the 5-yard out, and throws it to him for an accurate ball there.
Let's step aside. We'll be back with the final 2 minutes of action from Alumni Stadium. You're listening to Red Storm Football 96.7 WKOV. Welcome back to Alumni Stadium in Jackson. We'll be back with you to wrap up the final 2 minutes here of football, where the Red Storm trailed Union Commonwealth 28-0. Be sure to stick around with us for the Bregan CDJR postgame show, where we'll hear from head coach Mark Thurston following today's contest. Eminer gets a snap, looks to his right, now makes a man miss in the backfield, has a man downfield, or at least thinks he does. And Beamer Walker able to, did he knock it away? The Bulldogs are signaling interception, but the official is signaling incomplete.
From my angle, it looked like an interception, but the ref was a lot closer to it. How the looked like he had a better angle than we did, so that's what he saw, I guess.
They don't generally ask our opinions from here anyway, unfortunately.
One of these days they will.
One time.
One time.
One time. You guys get your own review from the booth. We'll tell you what we think from up here. 1:47 to go. The Red Storm trail 28-0. 3rd and 8. Trying to get some points on the board late. Eminer gets a snap, rolls to his left. Has a man, that is Beamer Walker, inside the 30-yard line. It'll be good for a Red Storm first down.
You like that. So, again, you're just looking for signs of growth. Eminer rolling left, has Beamer Walker on the 10, 12-yard out, and throws a strike to him. That's not the easiest ball to throw, and he did, and you put it on the money. You like that.
Good to see from the quarterback, stepped in to fulfill the shoes of the starter for the day, Peyton Moulter. Now steps up in the pocket, finding some running room, cuts back across the middle of the field. Inside the 20 is Eminer. And he's got this Red Storm offense moving. 90 seconds to go in the contest.
Pushing the tempo, too. Like to see them just getting some reps and operating the 2-minute drill here,
yeah.
which is what Ryo's getting experience at right now.
Eminer calls out signals. 2 receivers to each side. Under 120 to go in the contest. Cartwright in the backfield stands to his left. May have a free play here. Gets the snap, throws it out to Josiah Ayers. Not much going on the completion.
Like you said, there should be offsides and move the chains for Ryo. So you're going to have over a minute left inside the 15-yard line. Chance to punch one in before the gun here.
Whoever lines up on the edge out here,
And the penalty looks as though it will move the sticks. And that'll be good for a Red Storm first down. .107 to go. Rio Grande offense inside the 15-yard line. Furthest they've gone today into Bulldogs territory. 3 receivers to the right. Eminer calling things out, gets a snap. Now looking, trying to hit the slant route. Intercepted. And that was number 57 on the interception. That's Zane Hammock, the junior linebacker. And that will probably be the last play of the day for the Red Storm offense.
Yeah, Josiah Ayers was running a slant over the middle, and Eminer just didn't see the linebacker there, threw it right to him. If the linebacker's not there, it would have been an accurate pass. Just not a good decision there. You hate to, obviously, it wasn't going to impact the final result, but it would have been nice just to feel good about something, get points on the board before the game ends. It wasn't in the cards, though.
Now under a minute to go in the contest here from Alumni Stadium. We will await the final snaps in this contest. It looks like we'll see a series of kneel downs, probably a couple, that'll likely wrap things up. 28-0.
Be careful going home.
And it looks like Union Commonwealth will take a timeout here and talk things over as they wind down this game. I'm not sure.
What's the strategy when you're up 28-0, less than a minute to go? You have the ball. What you have to talk.
I'm not sure. Here we are.
The only thing I think of is to say, if you think about late in the Pikeville game, Rio and Pikeville's players, there's a lot of chirping and some pushing back and forth. Maybe if I'm the coach, maybe I'm just saying, hey guys, just be careful. Like, don't lose your head. Don't do anything stupid to cost you the next game.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. The only reason there could possibly be to call a timeout in this situation.
59.7 to go, Rio Grande. Ultimately, going to fall in this contest. They will move to 0-6 for Union. This will be their first conference win, as they'll move to 1-2 in the Appalachian Athletic Conference play. And the Red Storm will still be in the search for that very first win in the series. Union will now take a 3-0 lead all time, with this being the first win over the Red Storm since October 4th, 1940.
Please leave a comment in the YouTube chat if you were at that game.
You should have been there. You should have been there. It was a great time. And that will do it. That'll be the final play as they'll begin shaking them up here at the 50-yard line from Alumni Stadium in Jackson. The University of Rio Grande fall to the Union Commonwealth University Bulldogs by a final score of 28-0. We will be back with the Braden CDJR postgame show in just a moment. Make sure you keep it right here on 96.7 WKOV. Welcome to the Braden CDJR postgame show with Eric Landrum and Todd Worley, live from Alumni Stadium in Jackson, where the University of Rio Grande falls to the Union Commonwealth Bulldogs by a final score of 28-0 today. Obviously, this was a Red Storm program. Thank you. Got the stats in hand here. This was a Red Storm program that came into the day very excited. A program that I think Coach Thurston thought played very well a week ago against a very good Pikeville squad that won the conference a year ago. I know Coach Thurston thought that his team had a really good opportunity in front of them to do some really nice things today. Unfortunately, for this young program, a lot of things didn't go the way of the Red Storm. It just didn't feel like that type of day of football, but competitive outcome. Most competitive outcome we've seen on the schedule all year long. And as always, you got things that you can find and take away as growth, as signs of development for this program. What are some of those things that we got to see today? I know things were kind of limited, Todd.
Yeah, it was, man, because there are so many plays that Rio was both in all three phases, actually, where Rio was so close to making a big play and just didn't make it. And that really could have changed the course of the game. And I wish we could have had another replay of the fumble that Rio challenged. It looked like the ball was out, and Rio definitely recovered it. We didn't get an explanation, but who knows? I think that takes 7 points off the board, and then instead of 14-0 at halftime, it's 7-0, and who knows? You know what I mean? Things can happen, and so. But Rio's offense had so many opportunities where a receiver is open and the QB just doesn't put an accurate ball on him, or the QB does put an accurate ball on him and the receiver drops it, and then had trouble protecting the passer, had trouble running the ball. So I mean, it wasn't. There's no. Every position group on this team bore the part of the responsibility in the loss, and it was a shame to lose to Kari Reese at halftime. for the whole second half with getting ejected. So signs of growth. I think Rio was able to get some more guys some playing time defensively, and hopefully, what I was touching on earlier is in a typical program where you've got freshmen through seniors on the roster, you're going to have a lot of your starters are going to be sophomores, juniors, and seniors. A lot of your backups are going to be freshmen and sophomores, and so those freshmen and sophomores realize there is a path to me starting. Okay, and so they see the light at the end of the tunnel. If I wait another year or two, I can be a starter. In this situation at Rio, when everyone's a freshman or a sophomore, there isn't that. And so, you have to build the depth. You have to get these guys reps, and you also want to keep them invested. The backups I'm speaking of, give them as much playing time as you can, so then they feel like they're a part of the team and they want to stay on in the future because you need depth. You can't play with 22 people.
Right.
So.
Well, let me ask you this then, because we're hoping to hear from Coach Thurston here. We'll see if we get him up here in the booth. It's hard to find the signs that everyone wants to see of growth and development, the glaring signs that we kind of saw last week. And you don't ever want to say something took a step backwards or anything like that. But I know Coach Thurston, and I know that this isn't the way that he wanted this game to play out today. It's now you're midway through the season. A little bit of the luster of the excitement of it all has kind of worn off. What do you think, and let's speculate for a moment, what do you think his message to his team in the locker room will be as they continue this stretch through the conference slate? I mean, the emotions, it's been a roller coaster, man. I mean, highs, lows for a number of different reasons. What do you say to a team you kind of come out and you feel deflated after today? It doesn't feel like it felt quite down at Pikeville a week ago.
No, there are a lot more positive signs coming out of the Pikeville game than this one, to be sure. So I'm going to answer your question momentarily. I want to say first, repeat your question for me, actually.
No, that's okay. But you got guys, highs and lows.
Yeah.
You've been through it all at this point. You're looking for your first win. You're deflated after today. What are you thinking? What are you saying to your team after something like this?
I've gotten the post-game fatigue, man. That's
real.
The first thing is, okay, at certain times this season, Rio has been completely outmatched. Let's call a spade a spade, okay?
Yeah.
Where they had no answers for what the defense was doing, whether individually or as a position group or a unit. And they're at the point where you lose 28-0. You don't like that. It is the closest final score they've had of the season, and it's to the point where there are a lot of close plays where they're not getting dominated, if that makes sense. So
it does.
They're at least in the mix, and so I think if you look at it from that standpoint, there is sign of growth, there is sign of development. Was this the best team they played this year? Of course not, but at least you're at the point where you can point to 6 to 8 plays throughout the course of this game. If Rio makes those plays, which are very makeable, then maybe this is a closer game for longer. So the message has to be, it's such a. I've said this in previous broadcasts. Being a head college football coach at any level in this day and age is as hard as it's ever been with the transfer portal.
Yes.
Then you factor in the situation that Coach Thurston inherits here, where it's a brand new program, no spring practice, all new players, all young players, and you've got to. On one hand, you can't coddle them, you can't baby them, because you have to hold them to a standard. You also, the results aren't showing on the field. You can't be that. You can't be too negative, because you have to be positive enough where they stay invested, they believe in themselves, and they have some confidence to where they can go out and play next week, and hopefully you get a win then. But so it's a really delicate balance to walk, and that's what the head coach has to be able to do. So that's the key, is to say, hey guys, there are plays to be made. We're good enough to make those plays. We're going to keep working to make those plays and get to the point in this program, whether it's next week, whether it's the last game of the year, whether it's next year or 2 years from now, whenever it is, there's going to be a breakthrough where we start making those plays and we start turning these games in our favor. And just believe in each other. But it can't just be all rainbows and sunshine at the same time. So
right.
you have to hold these guys to a high standard, but say that, guys, we can do this. We're going to keep working at it together. All of us as coaches, all of you as players, and let's stay together.
It's a tall task for this program, and that's what makes it such a special group of guys to be taking this task on in year one, the resurgence of the Red Storm football program. We're going to step aside for our first break of the postgame show. Keep it right here. When we return, we will have stats, and we will see if we get you anything from Coach Thurston this afternoon. Keep it right here.